Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto Uzumaki died on the night the nine-tailed fox was sealed and reincarnated. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Sealing art. Dead demon consuming seal. The Shinigami, an otherworldly creature with long, ghost white hair and purple skin covered by a white long-sleeved robe, appeared behind Minato Namikaze as he faced the nine-tailed fox. It was his last resort. If this plan of his to seal the tailed beast didn't work, the village hidden in the leaves would be doomed. Minato, have you prepared the seal? His wife Kushina asked. Standing close by, she was locking them within a massive barrier supported by her chakra chains while keeping the nine-tails at bay with more chains. I can't keep the nine-tails restrained for much longer. I have, Minato answered. Where's Naruto, Kushina? Kushina cradled their son Naruto in her arms. He's sleeping. But why is he here? What are you planning, Minato? I want to seal the nine-tailed fox into Naruto. Kushina pulled Naruto closer to her. I know it's a hard thing to ask of him, but, Kushina scowled. Don't even think about doing it, Minato. Naruto will only suffer with that monster sealed inside of him. Minato gave his anxious wife a reassuring smile. It didn't work as he intended. Please, Minato, don't do it. Seal the nine-tails into me, even if it costs me my life. As long as the damn fox is dead, Naruto and everyone in the village can live peacefully. That won't work, Kushina, Minato said as calmly as he could. The nine-tails will escape if that happens and our efforts will be wasted. If I seal the nine-tails into Naruto, it will be much more difficult for it to escape, since the younger the vessel is, the stronger the seal will become. All I want you to do for me is to run away once I grab the nine-tails, so that Naruto can have at least one parent to take care of him. I can't, Minato, Kushina said, choking back a sob. The silver chains Kushina used to restrain the nine-tails began to fade in and out, but she vowed to maintain them for as long as possible. I'm dying. When that man removed the nine-tails from me, it weakened me so much. I don't know if I'll have enough energy to escape. I'm struggling to maintain my chains, even now. Minato frowned. Naruto needs someone to raise him, someone that will keep him safe from harm and love him. I've already summoned the Shinigami, so I can't be the one to do it. Kushina, it has to be you. Minato, please do me a favor, Kushina said after a period of tense silence. Tears streamed down her face. Anything for you, my love. Seal me into Naruto. That way, I can watch over him and guide him in any way I can. Minato contemplated Kushina's idea. It would be a good way to give Naruto support, in more ways than one. Alright then, I'll see what I can do. Minato took his son from Kushina and prepared a shrine, placing Naruto on the bed. Shinigami. I want you to seal the nine-tailed fox into Naruto. Do whatever you have to for this to be. The agreement has been made. The nine-tailed demon fox will be sealed into the vessel that you have chosen, the Shinigami intoned, using its ghostly hand wrapped in prayer beads to reach for the nine-tails, impaling Minato in the process. In exchange, your soul and the soul of the vessel will be taken as penance. What? That's not no, stay in control. I want to change the agreement. I want you to seal half of the nine-tailed fox's chakra and its soul into me and seal the other half of its chakra into Naruto. Please, I cannot. Such an action supersedes the scope of the initial agreement. As such, the soul of the vessel and the soul of the summoner will be taken as penance, with the soul of the nine-tailed fox and its power being sealed into the vessel. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I can't let Kushina know about this. Even if she dies, I can't tell her what will happen to Naruto. With his chakra and life force being sucked away bit by the Shinigami, Minato summoned a large orange toad who appeared to wear an obi around his abdomen. Geratora. Open your scroll. Geratora complied, unfolding his obi to reveal a large scroll. Minato placed his hand on the scroll, creating an intricate seal. This is the key to the 8 trigram seal, the seal I'm going to use to seal Kushina into my son. I'm entrusting you to Jiraiya-sensei. Don't tell him that I've sealed Kushina inside of Naruto. If he asks, tell him that the 8 trigram seal is an extra seal for Naruto that's designed to restrain the nine-tails' power, understand? Geratora nodded. Understood. After Geratora disappeared in a thick cloud of smoke, Minato called Kushina over to him. Kushina, I love you so much. I just wish that this didn't have to happen. And I love you, Minato, now and always. Kushina smiled sadly. You should say something to Naruto before you go. Before Minato could, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, came to his successor's aid. Minato. What is happening to you? Hiruzen called out from behind the barrier surrounding the nine-tails. Don't worry about me, Hiruzen, Minato replied. I want you to do me a favor. No matter what happens, please protect my son in any way you can. Even if Naruto is the nine-tailed fox, or becomes possessed by it, please protect him. I will do as you say, Minato, Hiruzen agreed, albeit with some confusion. Minato allowed a small smile to come to his face. Hiruzen left the area just after Kushina, who now stood in front of her husband, had finished giving Naruto her heartfelt advice. Tears streaked her face, for this would be the last time she would see her husband. Minato, is there anything you want to say to Naruto? Kushina asked. Naruto, I love you and I'm sorry that I can't be a father to you like I hoped I could be. His heart clenched since he knew that once this was over, Naruto would be joining him in whatever afterlife awaited them. With a smile on his face and a heavy heart, he directed the Shinigami once more. After the nine-tailed fox had been dragged into Naruto, Minato prepared his last technique. Kushina, this is goodbye. And I'm sorry. Kushina grabbed the back of Minato's neck, pulling him close. Their foreheads touched. Don't be. We'll be together again someday, that's an eternal promise. She was so weak, and so tired, but she knew that as long as Naruto was safe, she would be able to endure any pain. 8 trigram seal. Minato's eyes went blank as soon as he performed the technique, but he knew it was successful. Kushina was sucked into Naruto's body. The last thing Minato heard as the last dredges of his chakra faded away was the Shinigami's otherworldly voice. The agreement has been fulfilled. The nine-tailed fox has been contained and bound to its vessel. Then Minato dropped lifelessly to the ground, a smile still on his face. The last thing he saw was the night sky as the Shinigami disappeared, his soul and the soul of his newborn son going with it. Naruto Uzumaki ran towards the forest close to the Hokage's residence, the scroll of seals strapped to his back. After failing the Ninja Academy's graduation exam for the 3rd time in a row, one of his teachers, Mizuki, had approached him. He gave him an opportunity to pass, and all he had to do was steal the scroll and learn one technique from it. He had jumped at the opportunity, since not only was it something within his range of abilities, someone had trusted him and gave him a chance. No one ever did that for him. He never knew why everyone ignored him, why he was all alone. For 12 long years, it had been like that, but he never let that put him down. He learned a long time ago that the only way to survive was to always think positive. That was why he fought to gain the acknowledgement of his village. He tried it through being the top student at the academy, and while he had an innate understanding of chakra, he had little else. His taijutsu was adequate, if not good, but his shuriken jutsu was subpar, and he had no interest in theory, save for a few topics. One of those topics was about the nine-tailed fox. At a subconscious level, Naruto felt a sort of familiarity with the beast that ravaged the Hidden Leaf village years ago. It didn't do much, because no one would help him if he didn't understand a part of the text, and what he was interested in wasn't enough to help him excel. So when trying to be acknowledged by being the top student failed, Naruto turned to gaining the villagers' attention by forcing them to see him and scream out his name. And that didn't work either. In fact, they only began to show their hatred openly. The victims of his practical jokes refused to help him, but he knew it wasn't just because he targeted them. He knew that the villagers had some sort of vendetta against him, and while he toned down his pranks on the Leaf Village, he decided to force the village to acknowledge him by becoming Hokage. But to become Hokage, he would have to graduate, and his tendency to skip class, not study his work or practice his forms had become ingrained, and had cost him dearly. It was why this task that Mizuki gave him was such a godsend. His experience from his pranking days were an invaluable asset, and he managed to knock out the Hokage with a technique he made to catch out the village's perverted folk before making his escape. Once he was in the clear, Naruto began to read the scroll and decided to learn the first technique on it, but he felt a pit form in his stomach when he read what it was: a clone technique. He was unable to use the standard clone jutsu because he had no idea how much chakra he was using, and had barely practiced his chakra control. Even if he understood what chakra was and how it was created, even with his setbacks, Naruto worked at mastering the technique, and after a while, he did and closed the scroll. He grinned widely. He would graduate and be that much closer to making the village acknowledge him. His happiness was short-lived when he saw the only person who tried to break his habits staring down at him. The disappointment in his expression was as clear as crystal. Naruto, why do you have the scroll of seals? Iruka Yumino asked. You know that what you have done is an illegal offense. Naruto gaped in surprise. But Iruka-sensei. Mizuki-sensei told me that if I took the scroll and learned a technique from it, he would make sure I became a genin. Iruka pinched his nose in disbelief. Naruto, why would you listen to Mizuki or anyone if they told you to take the scroll? It's best if you give me the scroll. I'll make sure it returns to its rightful place, then we'll deal with the consequences of your transgression. Naruto was about to hand the scroll to Iruka when another ninja approached the pair. Naruto, don't give him the scroll, the ninja ordered. Remember? You have to finish your task. Naruto was surprised to see 2 Irukas in front of him, but then he realized that one of them was an imposter. Which one of you is the real Iruka-sensei? Don't lie to me. The Iruka who berated him punched the Iruka who just arrived in the face. A cloud of smoke emerged around the imposter, revealing him to be Mizuki. Mizuki-sensei. Why would you want to impersonate Iruka-sensei? Mizuki stood up, nursing his jaw. So that both you and Iruka could be blamed for the theft of the scroll and I could get away with it scot-free. Naruto clenched his fist tightly and scowled. But why would you do this to me? Mizuki started walking towards Naruto. A gullible failure with some skill in stealth, the same person who is reviled by the majority of the village and will do anything for their acceptance makes for a great scapegoat, don't you think? Besides, nobody will miss you if you get thrown in jail. It might just be a blessing for you. Naruto stood expressionless as Mizuki continued to inch closer to him. He couldn't believe that Mizuki betrayed him. He should have realized it before, since it was too convenient for him to get an exam catered to his talents. It was too good to be true. By the way, do you want to know why everybody hates you, Naruto? Mizuki, don't! Iruka shouted. You'll be revealing an S-rank secret. Mizuki ignored him. 12 years ago on October 10th, the 4th Hokage sealed the nine-tailed demon fox into a newborn baby. That's not true! Naruto screamed. The 4th Hokage killed the nine-tailed fox. That was a lie told to hide the secret about the nine-tails, Naruto. It would be easier for the masses to believe that the nine-tails was dead, especially the new generation of the Hidden Leaf Village. Iruka continued his attempts at stopping Mizuki from crossing the point of no return. No, Mizuki! Don't do it! Mizuki, once again, did not regard Iruka's words. He gave Naruto a cruel smirk. Do you know who the baby was, Naruto? Let me tell you who it was and why everybody hates you. It's because the baby that the 4th sealed the demon fox into is you. You are the nine-tailed fox. You are the nine-tailed fox. Something clicked within Naruto after Mizuki revealed that bit of information to him. Grasping his head and groaning in pain, Naruto felt himself reliving a life that was at first unfamiliar. Before all the memories that had been locked within what could be described as a seal started flooding into his mind, Naruto remembered feeling a reaction to the nine-tailed fox being sealed once again. He remembered the ominous feeling of dread the nine-tails felt when the Shinigami pulled him into its new vessel, the body of a newborn boy, his body. He remembered how the nine-tails felt rage, anguish and several other negative emotions after being controlled once again, and remembered the agonizing feeling of being sealed by the wretched 4th Hokage, only hours after escaping the seal and experiencing true freedom. Once his turbulent mind finally settled, Naruto felt everything fall into place. He knew the reason why everybody hated him, the reason why he was all alone, and the reason why he felt a strange sense of familiarity whenever he heard about the nine-tailed fox. Naruto examined his hands as if he were seeing them for the first time, and then his eyes widened in realization. Mizuki was right. That's why I have these memories. That's why everyone looks at me like I'm the one who terrorized the village, because I did terrorize the village. It's because I am the nine-tailed fox. Naruto's eyes turned blood red with a black vertical slit for a pupil. Turning his stare to Mizuki, the newly revealed tailed beast grinned unnaturally. Mizuki felt his throat contract and his heart rate increase, but he shook it off and continued to rant. Even Iruka hates you. You're the one who killed his parents, after all. He was only pretending to be nice to you so that he could stab you in the back. Naruto, don't believe what Mizuki's saying! Iruka exclaimed. After gaining control of his sudden eagerness, Naruto considered what Iruka was saying, but he didn't dare show his face to his teacher. Iruka was the only one who tried to help him. He was the one who gave him the idea of becoming Hokage. But was it all an act? Why should I believe you, Iruka-sensei? I'll admit, I did see you as the demon fox at first, but after getting to know you better, I realized that you didn't deserve any hatred from anyone. You were just an attention-starved boy who needed someone to notice you. I knew how you felt back then. When I lost my parents on that day, I felt like I was all alone. I would do anything to get anyone's attention, and I know what you're going through. I know that you're hurting. But I'm here to help you, Naruto. Naruto blinked, unable to speak. He was moved by what Iruka was saying. Even after he killed his parents, Iruka gave him a chance, and helped him. For a moment, he felt guilt for ruining Iruka's life. And he couldn't fathom why. Mizuki laughed nastily. It's just more lies, Naruto. Don't you see? He's only trying to manipulate you. Now then, Naruto, give me the scroll, then you can become a genin, just like you wanted. Naruto glared at Mizuki. You must really think that I'm a fool if you think that I'm gonna let you get away with this. Mizuki seethed in anger. You pick now to grow a brain? If you don't want to give me the scroll, then I'll pull it out of your dead hands. Mizuki grabbed the giant shuriken on his back and launched it at Naruto. The shuriken was whirring at a speed faster than Naruto could currently react to, but fortunately for him, Iruka pushed him out of the way. The shuriken continued to spin into the distance. Iruka, you bastard! Mizuki snarled. If you could just stop being a nuisance, then the demon brat would have been killed. No, Mizuki. Naruto is one of my students, and I will protect him, with my life if I have to. Iruka declared, having managed to avoid the shuriken completely. A warm feeling enveloped Naruto, softening his heart. Is this what it feels like to be acknowledged? Naruto thought. Iruka was willing to die for him. The least he could do was own up to his mistake and make sure Mizuki regretted his for the rest of his very short life. Iruka-sensei, let me show you what I've learned, Naruto said. His lips were pulled taut, revealing fang teeth. I can handle Mizuki now. You! Mizuki laughed in cruel hysteria. You're not even a genin. How will you be able to even touch me? An orange-red chakra cloak wrapped around him as his fingernails lengthened to become claws and his whiskers darkened. He tried to pull on more of his chakra, but he couldn't access any more chakra. He shook his head. That was something he could think about later on. He had a job to do. He formed the seal that would activate the technique he learned from the Scroll of Seals. Let me show you! Shadow Clone Jutsu. 5 clones wrapped in the same chakra cloak appeared behind and next to Naruto. The smiles on their faces weren't normal. They were predatory. The clones lunged at Mizuki, attacking him with the ferocity of a demon. While Mizuki was able to hold his own against Naruto's clones at first, Naruto overwhelmed him by summoning more and more clones. Mizuki was kicked in the groin, punched in the ribs, slashed across the face and elbowed in his throat, completely unable to overcome Naruto's furious onslaught. Mizuki lay battered and broken on the ground, terrified by how much Naruto had changed. "Stay away from me. Please," Naruto grinned, savoring Mizuki's attempts to negotiate his survival. "I can't do that. Not only did you betray me and try to kill me, you tried to kill my sensei, the first person to truly acknowledge my existence, the first person to see me as someone worth dying for." He pulled out a kunai from his holster and clutched it with both hands, driving it towards the crown of Mizuki's head. "Naruto, stop!" Naruto ignored Iruka, but just before he could bury the kunai in Mizuki, his grip faltered. The kunai was just an inch away, but Naruto couldn't bring himself to do it, not with Iruka watching. Why is this happening? Naruto thought in shock. Why did I stop? He turned to face Iruka as his chakra cloak receded. Why don't you want me to kill him? He's a traitor, a liar, a fool. He doesn't deserve to live. Because you've already beaten him, Iruka explained. Let him live for the rest of his life with the knowledge that he was beaten and humiliated by the academy's worst student. Naruto reluctantly sheathed his kunai, but knocked Mizuki out with a kick to the groin. You might be right. It'll be better for him to live in humiliation than die, although I would have definitely enjoyed killing him. Iruka's fierce glare made Naruto's heart skip a beat from surprise. Don't ever think like that, Naruto. You shouldn't enjoy killing people. It's not a good thing. Only monsters think like that, or people without a moral conscience. And what if I do? What if I am a monster? Naruto asked. What then? It shouldn't make any difference. I know that you aren't the demon fox. And you shouldn't think that you are it either. If you do, I would be very disappointed in you, because I know that you don't let other people's opinions of you change who you are. Okay, Naruto finally said. He assumed that everyone knew that he really was the nine-tailed fox reborn. But it looked like that wasn't the case. Even so, Iruka accepted him, and it brought a genuine smile to his face. He then began to think about the recent series of events revolving around his battle with Mizuki, and he didn't like them one bit. Killing Mizuki should have been as easy as breathing, so why did I hesitate? And why can't I access all of my chakra? Why were my memories sealed? What's happening to me? Naruto, close your eyes, Iruka said, breaking Naruto's train of thought. Naruto complied, and when he opened his eyes, he saw that Iruka wasn't wearing his forehead protector. He also felt a different weight on his forehead. Curious, he raised a hand to feel the weight, tracing the grooves of the Leaf Village's symbol. What does this mean, Iruka-sensei? Iruka smiled brightly. It means that I recognize you as a genin. After I speak to Lord Hokage about this, you'll be officially promoted. Congratulations. Naruto smiled genuinely. Thank you so much, Iruka-sensei. Thanks to you, I'm one step closer to reaching my goal. While Iruka might have thought that Naruto meant he was one step closer to becoming Hokage, he meant something else entirely. He knew that it would be futile to become Hokage. Instead, he began to think about something that was finally within his grasp. Now that he had his memories back and full control over his vessel, freedom from the seal locking away his power and form. No one would control him or force him to do something he didn't want to do ever again. And once he was free, he would make sure that nobody sealed him into anything or anyone ever again. He was Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, the world's most powerful tailed beast. And he would do everything in his power to finally be free. While his goal didn't actually require being a ninja to fulfill, Kurama knew that being one would have its advantages. It opened many windows for him to gain more knowledge on different topics related to his goal, including finding ways to break down his seal faster. That being said, there was another reason why he still wanted to be a ninja. He was fully aware that his powers were limited, and he would have fought an uphill battle trying to escape without sufficient preparation. He planned to test his limits, and he knew that the best course of action would be to fight, and being a ninja was a surefire way to fight and kill without raising any suspicion. That, and he finally graduated. He couldn't imagine failing for a fourth time, so he was glad that was over. Now he could focus on more important things. The biggest threat to his goal was that masked man who was somehow able to control him. Kurama could only remember being controlled one other time, by Madara Uchiha, and that event was the start of Kurama's torturous hidden leaf experience. And someone with similar powers to someone like Madara was far too dangerous to be left alive. Those and other thoughts occupied Kurama's mind as he waited for someone to escort him to the Hokage, so he could put the whole scroll of seals fiasco behind him. A member of the Hidden Leaf Village's ANBU approached him. Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage is ready to see you now. Allowing the ANBU to escort him to the Hokage's office, Kurama felt his world spin around him as he entered the office in a swirl of leaves and wind. The ANBU quickly took his leave. Ah, Naruto. The Hokage gave Kurama a kind, grandfatherly smile. I'm glad you could join me. Please sit down. Kurama sat down in the single chair in front of the Hokage's desk. After hearing of your ability to perform shadow clones from Iruka, I have agreed with Irika's decision and have made your promotion official. Thank you for the promotion, Lord Hokage. The Hokage returned Naruto's smile. Naruto, it's not like you to be so formal. Is there something troubling you? Kurama frowned. The Hokage had done a lot for him, but he always hid information from him behind a facade of wizened benevolence, like the names of his parents, or his identity. Why didn't you tell me the truth about the nine-tailed fox, old man? You could have helped me start my trek on the long road to freedom, Kurama added silently. The Hokage took off his hat, revealing gray hair. I only wanted to protect you. That was why I made the details about you and the nine-tailed fox an S-rank secret. Not for the previous generations, but for newer generations that, ideally, wouldn't be influenced by the nine-tailed fox's attack. I did this so that you could live a normal life. That secret didn't help me out at all. In fact, most of my classmates treat me just as badly as the other villagers. I am aware of that. They were influenced by their parents' opinion of you, but as they do not know about you being a Jinchuriki, you still have a chance to make them accept you for who you are. Kurama remained silent. Irika also told me about how a red cloak or shroud of chakra surrounded you and your clones when you attacked Mizuki, the Hokage continued. I will have to warn you, however, that attacking Leaf Ninja is a grave offense. Kurama jumped out of his chair, fangs bared. Mizuki was a traitor. The Hokage raised his hand in a placating gesture. And you were fortunate that he was. As you would have been promoted to genin, it wouldn't have affected your reputation or mission record anyway, but it would be prudent for you to remember the consequences of murdering Hidden Leaf Ninja. Kurama nodded curtly. Don't worry, I'll remember them. The Hokage smiled proudly. Now let's return to discussing the chakra shroud. It seems that you somehow tapped into the nine-tailed fox's chakra after Mizuki revealed the secret to you. When that happened, you succumbed to the nine-tail's bloodlust as you fought against Mizuki, correct? No, Kurama snapped. I was in full control. The Hokage flinched for a brief moment. How? You wouldn't mind explaining, wouldn't you? I wanted to kill Mizuki for betraying my trust and threatening to kill Irika-sensei, but at the last moment, I hesitated. And I don't know why. Killing Mizuki should have been as easy as breathing. Maybe I'm growing soft. Kurama scoffed at that thought. Not a chance. The day I regret killing someone is the day I'll call myself soft. Maybe the cloak appeared when I was angry, Kurama admitted. Then he drew on his power as much as he could, until he hit his limit. But I didn't feel like I was losing control of my actions until that moment. At any rate, Naruto, I am glad at how these events have turned out. Before I let you go, however, do you have any questions for me? This is my chance to test the old man's loyalty to me. Kurama knew that as the Leaf Village's leader, the Hokage had an obligation to his village and would have to do whatever was necessary to protect it. That loyalty would most likely supersede any affection the Hokage had for him. I have 2 questions. I noticed that when my clones were dispelled, I had full knowledge of what they did. Is that a side effect of the Shadow Clone Jutsu? Yes. Everything that the Shadow Clone experiences will be transferred to you once the clone has dispelled. The technique itself was created to act as an extra tool for reconnaissance. Kurama nodded and sat on the chair, a small smile tugging at his lips. Do you have any other secrets to tell me? It'll only be for my own good if I know everything. Do you have any secrets of your own, Naruto? Kurama grinned. It's something big. I do hope to tell you, but only if I can trust you completely. I'll have you know, Naruto, that I will support you as much as I can. I want you to know that you can trust me completely. We'll see, Kurama said darkly. But why not tell me everything? I'm not that knowledgeable, and I want to use anything I can to my advantage. It's for your protection, the Hokage repeated. We're going back to that again, aren't we? Kurama asked callously. The Hokage's expression became grim, anger burning in his eyes as he clenched his fist. I have done my best to protect you, Naruto. If a villager told you that you were the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, the villager would be punished by life imprisonment, at the very least. I have also gone to great lengths to prevent you from suffering the same kind of abuse that other Jinchuriki like you have gone through. Did you know that the Jinchuriki from the village hidden in sand was the target of multiple assassination attempts? Kurama shook his head. As you can see, you have not suffered such a terrible ordeal, compared to what you might have suffered. I see what you mean. Kurama could see where the Hokage was coming from. For one, the villagers only ignored him, or whispered about him. They never tried to hurt him, and if they did, he would paint the village red with their blood. It was as simple as that. And even if the Hokage was telling the truth, he would remain on guard and make sure that he wasn't hurt by the village any more than what already happened. Thanks for telling me. The Hokage relaxed considerably and smiled. It's my pleasure, Naruto. Don't forget to fill in your ninja registration form. You must hand that in before week's end. The rest of the morning went by quickly for Kurama after he filled out his registration form and took a unique photograph. It had taken him quite a bit of time for him to make one of his eyes turn red without the other eye changing color as well, but he managed to take the photograph and after completing the form, he handed it to the Hokage, who required a bit of convincing to accept the unusual photo. All Kurama could think about was how useful that technique of his was becoming, and if he asks me to take the picture again, I'll just make both my eyes red instead. A moment afterwards, he had witnessed a boy with spiky brown hair and a really long scarf try to assassinate the Hokage, only to trip on his scarf before he could. Kurama wondered if this was some sort of elaborate genjutsu, but he was shaken out of his train of thought by the boy. Hey you! Don't laugh at me! He shouted after seeing and hearing Kurama laugh at him. Why shouldn't I? You seriously think that you can take out the Hokage? Kurama sneered. Yeah, of course I can. The boy then noticed the Hokage knocked out, lying on the floor. Whoa, did you do that? You have to show me how you knocked out the Hokage, mister. The name is Naruto. Just before Kurama could make his decision, a man wearing black sunglasses and the Hidden Leaf's Chunin uniform consisting of a blue long-sleeved shirt and matching pants without the customary green flak vest entered the room. Honorable grandson, I have finally found you. Come now, you must continue your training. The man was about to turn around and leave, but he saw Kurama and sniffed in contempt. It's the nine-tailed fox boy. And don't waste your time playing with such unsavory folk. Come on, Ebisu, can I take a break today? The apparently honorable grandson whined. You cannot, honorable grandson. Ebisu let out a self-satisfied smile. If you want to become a great ninja, then you must train with me, since I can show you many shortcuts to become stronger faster. Before the boy could protest, Ebisu grabbed his scarf and pulled him out of the room. Kurama was relieved to an extent, since Ebisu really rubbed him the wrong way, and he had to suppress the urge to violently kill the man. Since he did hand in his registration form, he was free for the rest of the day to do what he wanted. If I have my way, it'll be like this all the time. Kurama was walking down the streets of the village for the first time since his memories returned. The knowledge of why the villagers had a vendetta against him didn't help at all with dealing with it. It made him far angrier, murderous in fact. He knew he slaughtered many of them, but the fact remained that they were perfectly willing to blame someone who by all accounts should have been innocent. And if it wasn't for the Hokage's law keeping them from talking about it, who knew what they would do? It was why becoming Hokage would be futile for more than it conflicting with his goal of freedom. The villagers would never acknowledge him. Kurama's stomach rumbled, reminding him that he hadn't eaten since the day before. He decided to visit Ichiraku Ramen, the only restaurant he ever spent time at. The food there was good and the owner had always been decent, which was better than he could say for most of the villagers. Hey Tucci, can I get a miso ramen? Kurama requested after entering the stand. After hearing Kurama's voice, Tucci immediately started preparing the meal for his favorite customer. One miso ramen, coming up. Kurama sat in his stool, which had been reserved for him for a very long time, and waited for Tucci to hand him his ramen. Tucci held out the steaming ramen bowl with both hands. Here's your ramen. Enjoy. I will. Kurama replied happily. You can never have too much of a good thing, after all, so might as well make the most of it. Oh yeah, I have some good news to tell you. What is it? I became a genin today. Promoted by the Hokage himself. Tucci smiled. Congratulations, Naruto. Hey did you hear? Who was working in the kitchen, came out and gave Kurama a hug, having heard the conversation. I always believed in you, Naruto. Congrats. Kurama gave his thanks to Iam's show of affection and began to eat, beginning to think deeply about the family in front of him. There was something troubling him, as a nauseatingly familiar feeling spread throughout his body. Why? Why do they care about me? They both know what I did to the village, and they don't hate me for it. Again, the reminder that they accepted Naruto and not Kurama hit the new genin, but he had to know why. Before Iam could head back into the kitchen, Kurama grabbed her by her apron, stopping her in her tracks. Tucci. Can I ask you something? Both of them noticed Kurama's distant expression and knew that he was serious. After sitting down on the stool next to Kurama, Iam said, yes, anything. You know what I contain, right? Both of them nodded. If that's so, then why bother helping me at all? I mean, most of this village hates me for something that I never wanted to happen, even if they aren't blatant about it. Besides, if I destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village, that would mean destroying this ramen stand. That wouldn't be so great, since these people did nothing to make me want to kill them. Quit talking like that, Naruto. You've never been like this before, Iam said, a frown marring her pretty face. It's like you've changed overnight, or something. Don't be silly, Kurama said dismissively. It's just a shock to find out something like this, something so big. Look at it this way, Naruto. Now that you know the reason why you're not Mr. Popular, you can make people see that you're Naruto Uzumaki and not a big bad demon, Iam said supportively. And you're our favorite customer no matter what, Tucci added. You're right, Kurama said with a smile. They do care about me, but I doubt they would take kindly to serving the nine-tailed fox, Naruto. Tucci pointed at Kurama's ramen bowl. Your ramen is getting cold. In an action fitting the old Naruto's demeanor, Kurama ate the cold ramen quickly, asking for another bowl to make up for it. Tucci and Iam were more than happy to oblige. After eating another 3 bowls of ramen, Kurama left Tucci and Iam's restaurant without having to pay. Since you're a genin now, the meal is on the house, Tucci had said. It was nice to know that Tucci and Iam acknowledged and cared about him, and if they gave him free food, and didn't shun him because he was a demon container, they were alright. Great even. Kurama was still caught up in his thoughts and felt someone bump into him, bringing him back to reality. Watch where your Kurama growled, before noticing who bumped into him. Oh, it's you, the boy from earlier jumped up. Naruto. I was looking for you, Kurama's eye twitched. Why, you have to teach me that jutsu you used to beat my grandpa. He answered excitedly. So that's where the term honorable grandson comes from. Kurama snorted. No thanks. Come on, I'm Konohamaru, the honorable grandson. Do you know how many people want to teach me? Now he'll have no choice but to teach me. Konohamaru added silently. Yeah, like that guy, Ebisu, Kurama remarked. Speaking of Ebisu, why'd you leave him? Konohamaru frowned. He's annoying and a real stick in the mud, he explained. He won't teach me any techniques, it's just theory, or chakra control with that guy. All that stuff's important, you know. If you don't know about chakra control, you can't learn new jutsu properly, Kurama said reasonably. Maybe I should follow my own advice. Oh, and I don't care if you're the honorable grandson of the third Hokage. You don't see me running around saying, I'm the nine-tailed fox, or I'm the son of the fourth Hokage, do you? You're the son of the fourth Hokage? Konohamaru asked. Kurama laughed. Did I say that? I was just giving you examples, you know. Anyway, I hope you get my point. I have to go now, so you should go and train with Ebisu. It'll help. With that, Kurama left Konohamaru for a nearby training clearing. Let's try that again, Kurama said to himself. If he could access all of his powers, he could break free from the seal and escape. Unfortunately, when he accessed his chakra the day before, he felt a block on his chakra that kept him from channeling any more of it. He began to channel his tailed beast chakra, making an orange-red chakra cloak wrap around his body, his features changing appropriately. Kurama took it further, channeling more of his chakra and pushing it outwards. The cloak's form changed as fox-like ears emerged and a single tail grew out from the base of his spine, giving the cloak an outline similar to his true form. Kurama exerted even more chakra, but no other tails were formed as he felt the same block from before. He let the chakra cloak dissipate. Only one tail? Unbelievable. If Shikaku saw this, he'd probably be laughing all day at what happened to me. Kurama sat down and closed his eyes, trying to figure out the reason behind his limited power, and trying to learn why that block even existed. After about 30 short seconds of meditating, he was interrupted by someone screaming the name of his vessel, which was his new name, he supposed, since no living human knew his real name. Naruto. Naruto, Konohamaru? What are you doing here? And how did he find me? You have to teach me that technique. Konohamaru answered, clutching his knees and panting from exertion. What a stubborn kid. Kurama exhaled deeply and stood up. If I teach you the technique, will you leave me alone? Sure, sensei. Konohamaru beamed. Kurama smirked. Okay then, it's time for you to learn the sexy jutsu, the #1 technique for dealing with perverts and the technique that knocked out our venerable Hokage. Konohamaru looked at his new sensei with a mixture of surprise and adulation. Show me, alright. Sexy jutsu. Kurama yelled as he formed the hand seal to the technique. In Kurama's place, a blonde woman with twin pigtails and a well-endowed figure stood in an enticing pose. Wisps of smoke covered her extremities. You like what you see, Konohamaru? Kurama's voice while in the sexy jutsu was melodic, intoxicating. Konohamaru nodded. Is this it? Kurama returned to normal. Yeah. It's a focused transformation jutsu. It also increases your confidence, bravado and libido. Konohamaru gawked, but before he could clear his confusion, Kurama continued his lecture. You'll only be able to understand this jutsu completely if you use it yourself, alright? Konohamaru nodded again and formed his hands in the ram seal after asking Kurama how the jutsu was performed. Sexy jutsu. An ugly-looking woman appeared where Konohamaru stood after the smoke cleared. How do you like this, Naruto? I don't, Kurama deadpanned. Konohamaru deactivated his transformation. What did I do wrong? Everything. Kurama massaged his temples. All the curves were in the wrong places. When he saw Konohamaru furrow his brow in confusion, Kurama's eyebrow twitched. He continued saying, by that, I mean the breasts and the ass. Anyways, you can mess that up, but you can't mess up the face. The face is actually the most important part of the technique, and when you used it, the face was bloated. It's the sexy jutsu, not the scare me jutsu. This actually isn't that bad. At least the kid doesn't treat me like trash. Kurama thought after noticing how Konohamaru hung off his every word. Come on, before I show you the technique again, I need to show you how other women look like naked. Kurama and Konohamaru stood in front of a bookstore in the village's market district. When Konohamaru saw the bookstore, he was not impressed. Books, Konohamaru groused. What does the sexy jutsu got to do with books? A mischievous smile formed on Kurama's face. I'll show you. Kurama went inside the store, walked straight to the adult section and took out a magazine called X-Rank Ninja. He returned to Konohamaru, who wandered inside the store, too impatient to wait. Konohamaru! Kurama shouted in irritation. You can come here afterwards. Now, it's time for you to study. Konohamaru acquiesced and looked at different pictures of naked and or scantily clad kunoichi. Kurama skipped the pages featuring the shinobi. Oh, I see now. Do you now? Well, let me put this magazine back where it belongs, then we can practice some more, Kurama replied. Unfortunately, one of the employees at the store noticed the duo. Naruto! You know that you can't take out such magazines unless you're 18 or older. Well, I'm a ninja now. Old enough to kill, old enough to, out. The employee screeched. And as for you, honorable grandson, you should know better than to associate with a troublemaker like Naruto Uzumaki. Kurama handed the employee the magazine, growling in irritation when the employee snorted in disgust. I get it, I was wrong. But do you have to be such a jerk about it? Let's go, Konohamaru. Kurama was having trouble containing his temper, so he stormed out of the store before he could act on his desire to kill the employee. Is there something wrong, Naruto-sensei? Konohamaru asked in concern. Nothing. I read through magazines like that before, and I may have done something personal to the employee. I was a prankster, you know, Kurama added as an afterthought. Alright then, don't worry about him. Konohamaru began to tug Kurama's arm. You have to teach me that technique, remember? Kurama smiled. Yeah, you're right. Even with Kurama's tutoring and the additional information he gained from the magazine, Konohamaru was still struggling with the technique and screamed in frustration after failing for the umpteenth time. Why can't I do this? Konohamaru wailed. I wonder why are you working so hard at trying to beat old man Hokage? Kurama asked. Everyone sees me as the honorable grandson of the third Hokage. Nobody sees me as Konohamaru Sarutobi. That's why when I beat my grandpa, then the whole village will have to see me for who I really am. He wants to be acknowledged as well. He just might turn out alright after all. Let's continue practicing that technique, alright Konohamaru? Konohamaru beamed brightly. Finally, someone outside of my family sees me as an actual person. Yeah, let's do it. The sun was beginning to set, turning the sky from a bright blue into a mesmerizing orange, but that didn't stop Konohamaru's efforts to complete the sexy jutsu. Alright, Konohamaru, Kurama commanded. Hit me with all you've got. Konohamaru formed his hands in the ram seal and exclaimed, Sexy jutsu. Where Konohamaru once stood, a beautiful woman with waist-length, silky brown hair took his place. She was naked and had wisps of smoke covering her sizable assets. She then transformed back to normal. Well done, Konohamaru. I knew you could do it, Kurama said with a smile on his face. Konohamaru wanted to reply, but before he could, he heard a familiar voice that made him shut up. Honorable grandson, I've finally found you. Ebisu called out. I see that you didn't heed my advice when I told you to not hang out with this brat. Don't diss Naruto-sensei. He taught me a great new technique. A sly grin appeared on Konohamaru's face. Wanna see it? Ebisu crossed his arms in response. Show me this fantastic new technique then. Sexy jutsu. Konohamaru stood in front of Ebisu, naked and female. How does it look, Ebisu? Such a foolish technique. I see that your time has been wasted. While Ebisu was distracted by Konohamaru, Kurama used the sexy jutsu and quickly went behind Ebisu, tapping him on the shoulder when she was ready. Come on, Ebisu, Kurama crooned. Don't you like this jutsu? No, I do not, boy, Ebisu spat. I can feel the nervousness rolling off of him. Literally. Kurama smirked. It's time to put him in his place. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Such a technique might have been enough to defeat Mizuki, but you'll find that as a special jonin, I am far superior. When Ebisu stopped speaking, he found himself surrounded by clones of Kurama. All of them were in the sexy jutsu's transformation. How do you like my harem jutsu, Ebisu? The amount of clones grabbing different parts of Ebisu's body or calling out his name was too much for him to handle, making him faint from sheer sensory overload. Both Kurama and Konohamaru exchanged a high five, which had interesting effects on their transformed bodies. After the duo reverted back to normal and Kurama dispelled his clones, Konohamaru said, Thanks for the technique, Naruto-sensei. Now I can beat my grandpa and become Hokage. That way, I'll get the acknowledgement I want. Kurama shook his head. You can't beat the Hokage that way, Konohamaru. Huh? Konohamaru's mouth hung slack. This was the jutsu you used to knock out Grandpa Hokage, right? Yeah, but that's not how it works. There are no shortcuts on the road to Hokage. There are no shortcuts to anything. When you want something, you do everything you can to get it. No remorse, no regrets. Just do your best. That's my ninja way, and that'll be my ninja way too, Konohamaru said brightly. Kurama looked up to see the sun set over the village as the last parts of the orange-red sky faded to black. He yawned. I'm pretty tired. I'll see you around, Konohamaru. Kurama walked inside his apartment complex and spared a glance at his landlady, hard at work. He couldn't remember his landlady being outright hostile, but she wasn't exactly nice to him, either. She was merely neutral. Maybe it was because she was forced to deal with him. Either way, he knew that since he wouldn't be getting any stipend money from the Hokage now that he was a genin, he would probably have to deal with her sometime in the near future. He went up to his apartment, changed into his night clothes and lay on his bed, reflecting on the recent chain of events. He couldn't remember feeling so good in several decades. It was pretty nice, being acknowledged, not just by Irika, the Hokage, Tuchi and Iam, who gave him a chance before, but by Konohamaru too. If Konohamaru could accept him, it gave Kurama a glimmer of hope that more people would follow his example. The least he would do was make sure that he wasn't irritated unnecessarily by the villagers. His encounter with Ebisu revealed his ability to sense negative emotions, and he would refine that skill to the best of his ability so that he could make sure he didn't get into a situation that would end badly for the opposing party. Not that he cared about the feelings of others, but it would arouse suspicion if he started killing people left and right. And he wasn't so arrogant to believe he was invincible, especially since he could only access one of his 9 tails of power. At the same time, he knew that even if he wasn't acknowledged, he would go above and beyond his limits to gain his freedom. No remorse, no regrets. Think positive and always do your best. A week had passed since Kurama taught Konohamaru to use the sexy jutsu. He had been busy setting the record straight with as many people as he could. While he understood why he was treated the way he was, it was still an annoying experience. I still don't regret doing it. After everything this village did to me, Kurama shook his head and got out of bed. After going to the bathroom and completing his daily ablutions, he returned to his room and put on his orange pants, a black shirt with an orange spiral in the center, and his signature orange jacket. Heading to the kitchen, Kurama ate a cup of instant ramen and drank unexpired milk, having bought new groceries during the week. Recalling what happened between him and the grocer who worked there put a smile on his face. He'll never give me any trouble, not anymore. Before leaving, he grabbed his forehead protector and put it on. It was his choice to become a ninja, and for the time being, he would put his all into being the best ninja he could be. Kurama was running towards the academy where team assignments would take place. He passed by many shocked villagers and didn't waste time trying to look at their faces. He knew what they were feeling like anyways, thanks to his new ability to sense negative emotions. He came into contact with someone trying and failing to hide and suppressed the urge to grin. While he might have humored Konohamaru at any other time, he wanted to get the academy early. Without breaking stride, he left a shadow clone to deal with the honorable grandson. I will never get used to thinking of Konohamaru as the honorable grandson. Never. Eventually, Kurama arrived at the academy. As he did, he gained the memories of the shadow clone he left with Konohamaru. Looks like I dealt with him a bit harsher than I would have preferred. Oh well, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Kurama entered the academy and entered his former classroom. Once he was inside, he tried to walk to the front row of desks, but he was interrupted by one of his former classmates. Hey Naruto, why are you here? Shikamaru Nara asked. You have to graduate if want to be assigned to a genin team. At one point, he had a relationship resembling friendship with Shikamaru, but they drifted apart, and now he was only annoyed by him. Kurama scowled. Since when do you care about what happens to me, Shikamaru? Kurama pointed at his forehead protector. I'm a genin now and don't bother asking how I became one. Kurama left Shikamaru, who blinked in surprise. I just wanted to know how Naruto passed, since it had to have been for a special reason. But instead, he blows me off. Man, Naruto's being even more of a drag than usual, Shikamaru thought, before placing his head on his arms to take a nap. Once Kurama got to the front row of desks, he turned around, looking at who already arrived. Besides Shikamaru, there weren't too many ex-students that had arrived yet, but at the second row from the top, on the far right, was Sasuke Uchiha. On a certain level, Kurama respected Sasuke. Since he was the top student, a title Kurama wanted at one point, Kurama always tried to test his skills against Sasuke, even if he knew he would lose. Unlike the others, Sasuke had a drive that pushed him to work and hone his skills, even with no one to show it to. It was a killer instinct that kept him from stagnating. Kurama had it now, of course, but he realized that he wasn't motivated like Sasuke was, at least before he regained his memories, which definitely invigorated his motivation and drive to fulfill his goals. However, he never remembered liking Sasuke. It wasn't because of his attitude or his popularity, or jealousy of his skill. It was because he was an Uchiha, and might have had the ability to use the Sharingan. It was the one thing Madara and the masked man had in common, and it forced him to do their bidding. Never again. I have to know if he has the Sharingan. With that in mind, Kurama approached Sasuke. Sasuke turned away from the window. What is it? He asked, his eyes darting to Kurama's forehead protector. Do you have the Sharingan? What's it to you? Sasuke snapped. A thin smile came to Kurama's lips. It looked like Sasuke got wound up whenever his clan or anything related to it was mentioned. Just curious is all. Fine by me. Kurama took a seat next to Sasuke and kept quiet, and Sasuke returned to staring outside the window. Although he wasn't patient before, he knew it would do him well to learn how to wait things out. It would be for the best, after all. More students filled the room, surprised at Kurama being there. However, it was the two kunoichi to be who had just entered who displayed the most surprise. One of them walked over to him. It's Sakura. That must have been an impulsive thought. Can I help you, Saku? Naturally, Sakura Haruno had little tolerance for Kurama. Move out of the way and let me sit next to Sasuke. Naruto, why did I have a crush on this girl? Maybe it was her hair or something. Or maybe not. Pink is similar to red, and I hate red hair. Regardless of how Kurama became attracted to Sakura, he wanted to be her friend because she was smart, and would help him with his work so he could pass and be that much closer to fulfilling his goals. But she wasn't interested. I think that you should start with please and with an indoor voice, he said with a grin. Sakura gritted her teeth and tried to force him out of the chair. Before she knew it, she was pinned on the table. One of Kurama's hands clutched her wrist tightly, while the other was wrapped around her throat. I could rip out her throat with ease. Just extend my fingernails and pull backwards after digging into her flesh. However, she's scared enough and I would only be stabbing myself in the foot if I killed the girl. Kurama released her. He simply had enough of Sakura's violent tendencies. He just wanted to be her friend. Don't try that again, or you might not be so lucky next time. He stood up and left a stupefied Sakura alone, walking to the front of the classroom and listening to the aspiring ninja's reactions to his outburst on the way. Why is Naruto in such a bad mood? Didn't he have a crush on you or something, Sakura? I heard that he did something similar to this one grocer. Nah, this wasn't as bad as that. If he could do something like that, he must have gotten over his crush on Sakura. Quit talking about Naruto like he's not in the room and sit down, Iruka ordered, appearing suddenly in the front of the room. The ninja-to-be who weren't sitting rushed to any available seats, Kurama included. Interestingly enough, he found himself seated next to Sakura. To all of you here, I want to extend my congratulations, Iruka began. Even though you may have become shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village, your journeys into ninja life and adulthood have only begun. As genin, you will be divided into 3-man squads and be led by a jonin sensei. You are expected to follow the instructions of your sensei to the letter as you learn and grow as ninja and people. With that being said, I will now announce team placements. Team 1. As long as I'm not with that backstabber Hibachi, I couldn't care less who my teammates are. After the whole ordeal with Mizuki, Kurama's opinion of backstabbers and betrayers dropped to an all-time low. He had preferences, but for the most part, those preferences were irrelevant. Each and every aspiring genin who was called out by Iruka reacted in a manner befitting their character. Now for Team 7, Iruka said. Naruto Uzumaki. Sakura Haruno. Sakura groaned in apparent disappointment, but glanced briefly at Kurama before looking away once she made eye contact. And Sasuke Uchiha, only for Sakura's disappointment to disappear when she cheered in nearly unrestrained excitement, all while the other girls wailed in disappointment. Kurama's interest was piqued when he saw Sakura glance at Ino and sensed her vindictiveness. Wonder what that was about. Team 8 consists of Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame. Kurama looked over to each member of Team 8, scowling when he saw Kiba, another person who abandoned him. Moving on, when he caught Hinata looking at him, she immediately looked away, her cheeks slowly turning bright red. She couldn't like me, could she? Kurama shook his head. It wasn't possible. And as always, Shino remained taciturn. Team 10's members are Choji Akimichi, Ino Yamanaka and Shikamaru Nara. Ino was visibly disappointed, but Choji looked like he was content with the results of his team placement, even though Kurama had the feeling it was because of Shikamaru, who he followed around constantly. Shikamaru simply shrugged. He didn't like how Kiba, Shikamaru and Choji just decided that he wasn't worth their time. He hated being abandoned like that. But he shook his head. They weren't worth it. We'll break for lunch, but in an hour, your Jonin sensei will be here to collect you, so don't be late. Kurama was walking around the outskirts of the academy, wondering about his new teammates, Sakura and Sasuke. His relationship with Sasuke would be moderately easy to fix. Even if his skill level was lower than Sasuke's, it was only a matter of time until he caught up. Making himself competent would help build a cordial working relationship with Sasuke, and it would keep him close to him too. As for Sakura, Naruto, speak of the devil. What is it, Sakura? Kurama asked. Sakura stomped towards him. Both her fists were tightened and hung at her sides, and her posture was rigid. What's your problem? You never got angry at me before. What made you change? I just don't want to be abused any longer. It hurts, you know, Kurama replied. I don't abuse you, Sakura said harshly. You do, Kurama shot back. I wanted to be your friend. I have no parents, nobody to tell me how to talk to girls or make friends. Sure, I've acted like an idiot before, but that doesn't give you the right to hit me every time I even look at you. Well, you wouldn't listen, Sakura said heatedly. How else was I supposed to make you understand that I didn't like you? I tried to reason with you, but no, someone didn't get the message. Kurama cringed as he remembered all the times he spoke to Sakura. He knew he was being persistent, but he never really considered how Sakura was feeling. Somewhere along the line, he forgot about his original motive and fell into the habit of asking Sakura out each and every day. Can we start over? I mean, we're going to be teammates, right? So stuff like this shouldn't get in the way of our team's performance. Sakura pondered the request. Okay. Sakura loosened her fists, and her posture relaxed. Kurama nodded and began to walk away. Naruto. Kurama stopped in mid-stride. After Kurama turned around, she continued. I'm sorry. Maybe I went too far. I should have handled it better. Kurama smiled. I accept your apology. I'm sorry for giving you a hard time. I feel really stupid for not getting the message, but here's some advice. Try looking at things from the other person's perspective before jumping to conclusions. Kurama walked away, leaving a fuming Sakura to her thoughts. Naruto. What's wrong with that guy, thinking that he's so good that he can give me advice? She sighed roughly and tried to look at it from her new teammate's perspective. The advice itself isn't so bad and he didn't refuse my apology. And he's being really reasonable. A small smile came to Sakura's face. I'll just have to play it by ear, I guess. An hour had passed since Kurama and Sakura had their conversation, and they both went back to their classroom, where there were many new faces inside. After everybody entered the classroom, Iruka began speaking. Alright, now that everyone has returned, I can now allow the Jonin to take their teams with them. Kurama looked across the room to see who his potential Jonin sensei might be. He wasn't too knowledgeable on who was who, but he knew that the Jonin who hid their emotions the best would be the one that would be the most potentially dangerous, and the one who was doing that the best was a bearded Jonin with spiky black hair. He looks familiar, but I can't exactly place where I've seen him. A graceful woman with long, dark hair and red eyes not unlike the Sharingan stepped forward. Teammate? I'm your Jonin sensei, Kurina Yehi. Come with me. She had Kiba, Hinata and Shino follow her. Kurama could feel that Kurina was slightly nervous, but maybe that was because she was new to the Jonin sensei experience. Or maybe she's not so good at hiding her emotions. The bearded man made eye contact with Team 10. You three are with me, Asuma Sarutobi. He tilted his head towards the door and left. Team 10 followed in suit. Sarutobi maybe sees related to Old Man Hokage. That explains the familiarity. Asuma wasn't nervous at all, which spoke of his level of confidence for his team. Or maybe it was just the way he was. Where's our sensei? Sakura asked. Iruka grimaced, shaking his head. He must be late. What sort of sensei would come late to his team's assignment? Kurama and Sakura thought. Hopefully he comes soon, for your sake, Iruka said ominously, before leaving the room. Kurama was at his wit's end. Neither Sasuke nor Sakura were willing to talk, and the shadow clone he had sent to fetch a book to pass the time had dispelled prematurely. He tried again, but the clone met the same fate as the first one. Sakura stopped staring at the blackboard and turned her head to Kurama. Hey Naruto, I thought that you couldn't do the clone jutsu. Kurama grinned. These are shadow clones. They're much better than the ordinary clone, and they can be used in a variety of ways. Sasuke was familiar with the shadow clone jutsu, having seen his older brother Itachi use it on occasion before the massacre. How Kurama was capable of using it with such ease was surprising, since he would have been slightly winded after forming one clone. Yet Kurama didn't look any worse for wear after forming three. It was just another surprise from the Academy's dead last. What else do you have up your sleeve, Naruto? Sasuke was pulled out of his reverie when someone opened the door. The man who entered was wearing the hidden leaf Chunin outfit, with his forehead protector slanted over his left eye. His most noticeable features were his gravity-defying silver hair and the blue mask that covered his mouth and nose. You're Team 7, right? I'm Kakashi Hatake, your Jonin sensei. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes and don't be late. The newly formed Team 7 made it to the roof, where Kakashi was waiting for them. Another year gives me another team to fail. Unless they surprise me. Team 7 sat on the nearby steps, and Kakashi closed his book. Now that you're here, it's time for you to introduce yourselves to me. Your name, what you like, what you don't like, dreams for the future, hobbies, that sort of thing. Sakura raised her hand. You don't have to do that anymore, you know. Sakura nodded. Can you give us a demonstration, Kakashi-sensei? Sure. I already gave you my name. I like some things, I dislike other things. My dream last night was interesting, but not interesting enough to tell you, and my hobbies you'll find out what they are soon enough. That wasn't helpful at all. Sakura thought. Alright then, now that I've introduced myself, you do the same. Let's start with you, Pinky. Sakura clicked her tongue. My name is Sakura Haruno, Scarecrow. Kakashi looked around. Scarecrow? Where? I don't see one. Sakura scowled. Never mind. Where was I? Sakura's gaze wandered to Sasuke, and her cheeks heated up. Knowledge, umebashi and dumplings. I dislike Sakura coughed. I'll give him a chance. Excuse me? I don't like anything spicy and people who insult me because of my forehead. My hobbies are reading and playing trivia games, and my dream is to be a strong kunoichi like my mother, as well as marry a strong man. Sakura trailed off, and once again, her eyes went to Sasuke, before she snapped back to Kakashi once Sasuke made eye contact. That was expected. According to Sakura's file, she showed a pronounced interest in Sasuke, which hampered her potential somewhat. Now you, Blondie. Kurama frowned. My name? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, the color orange, and the feel of the wind on my skin. I don't like traitors, judgmental people, people who think they're all that when they're not, people who waste my time, vegetables, the time it takes for instant ramen to heat up. I don't like many things. My hobbies are eating ramen, training and gardening. My dream is to be free. Huh? Sakura blurted out. Didn't you want to be Hokage? What's the point of being Hokage if the entire village hates you? Kurama growled. Now that was unexpected. The person he saw here and what was written about Kurama had many differences. Instead of being impulsive and rash, Kurama was calmer and had a different goal. What could have propagated such a change? Kakashi was briefed on what happened between Kurama and Mizuki, and how he used the nine-tailed fox's chakra. It must have triggered some sort of change. Okay Naruto, calm down. Feeling a bit inspired to share more about himself to his new team, Sasuke began his introduction. Sasuke Uchiha. I like tomatoes and training. I dislike a lot of things, including weak people. My hobbies are training and contemplation. My dream, no, my ambition is to restore my clan after killing a certain someone. Not the best ambition, but one that's plausible given the circumstances. Kakashi thought. I'm glad you took the time to tell me a bit about yourselves. I hope to get to know you better, but we'll only get to do that if you pass my test. What test? Kurama asked. Kakashi's visible eye closed, turning upwards in a facsimile of a smile. Why, it's the test to weed out the weak genin from the strong ones. Want to know something cool? Yes? Kurama asked, drawing out the word. If you fail, you'll be stuck in the academy for another year. In fact, this test has a 66% fail rate, but each and every person who's taken my version of the test has failed. He added silently. We worked so hard to become genin, and now you're telling us that our work would be wasted. Sakura asked angrily. It won't be if you're truly ready to become a genin, Kakashi replied casually. The life of a ninja is one of bloodshed and hard times, so if you're not ready, I will send you back to the academy. When's the test? Sasuke asked. Tomorrow at the 3rd training ground, 5 sharp. Oh yeah, don't eat anything tomorrow, since we're doing a survival test. You wouldn't want to vomit out your innards because you were overwhelmed by the test, wouldn't you? Sakura grimaced. Sasuke was impassive and Kurama shook his head, although there was a hint of a smile on his face. Looks like someone is excited. See you then. Kakashi vanished in a swirl of leaves. He had always tried to look underneath the underneath, and what he saw wasn't what he was expecting. The interpersonal dynamics he was anticipating Team 7 would have had shifted somewhat. It was possible that they would fail, or maybe they would succeed. We'll just have to wait and see. The next day, Kurama arrived at the 3rd training ground. The early morning sun illuminated the forest he was walking through, and when he left it, he came into a wide field near a lake with a rocky shore. It was there he found Sasuke and Sakura waiting for him, sitting on the grass. Did Kakashi come yet? Kurama asked. Sakura shook her head, frowning at her new teammate. No. I came here at 5 sharp, like he said, and it's been 10 minutes since then. Kurama shrugged. Guess we'll have to wait. About 2 hours had passed since then, and Kurama was getting fed up with Kakashi. If this is how it's going to be, I'd rather fail the test than be stuck with such a tardy sensei. Kurama shook his head. Why would I say that? I'm not going to fail and go back to the academy for another year. But if Kakashi's going to be late like he was yesterday, he grinned mischievously. I'm going to get some food. Do you guys want anything? Sakura groaned. She turned onto her side and looked at Kurama. Didn't you hear what Kakashi-sensei said? We're not supposed to eat before the test. Who knows when Kakashi is going to come? Kurama countered, standing up and dusting himself off. I'll get the food and eat it, and Kakashi will be none the wiser. Sasuke sat up. Suit yourself. Kurama summoned 3 shadow clones, transformed 2 of them and sent them to get ramen, dumplings and fresh tomatoes. Ever since he found out that he was unable to get any books from the library the day before, he didn't want to take a blind leap of faith. Waste of skin. Kurama was feasting on his cup of chicken ramen. Sasuke and Sakura looked on hungrily. Sakura smiled bashfully. Naruto, you sent 3 shadow clones out. Wouldn't that be a waste of chakra if you only got ramen for yourself? Kurama smiled knowingly. Well, I didn't only get ramen, Sakura. I got you and Sasuke something as well. In the bag that he placed his ramen in, he took out a dango skewer and a pair of tomatoes. Here you go. Eat up before Kakashi arrives. Sasuke took the tomatoes immediately. I don't know, Naruto, Sakura said hesitantly. Kakashi-sensei said not to eat. Fine then, I'll just eat the skewer by myself then. Just as Kurama was about to place the skewer in his mouth, Sakura grabbed it and gobbled the dango up. What? I didn't have anything to eat yesterday, and this style of dango is almost like the dumplings that I covet. After Kurama had a shadow clone dispose of the leftovers, Team 7 waited in companionable silence, lying next to each other and looking at the clouds. Their sensei to be arrived with an alarm clock placed under his armpit, and a pair of bells strapped to his hip. The alarm clock read 9 o'clock. Good morning. Sakura jumped up and pointed at Kakashi. You're late. Sorry about that. I saw a black cat and had to avoid a series of increasingly contrived bad luck traps as I went the other way. What? Team 7 thought simultaneously. Anyway, now that I'm here, let me explain the test to you. You have to grab these bells from me before 12, or else you have to go without lunch. The person who I think put in the least amount of effort to get a bell will be tied to one of the posts over there. Kakashi pointed to 3 posts placed a fair distance away from their current location. If you're tied to the post, your chances of returning to the academy will increase by quite a bit. But there are 2 bells, Sasuke noted, and 3 of us. That's something for you guys to figure out on your own. Feel free to attack me with everything you've got. Unless you come at me with the intent to kill, then you won't stand a chance to get a bell from me and you'll fail. Kurama smiled thinly, something that Kakashi noticed. Ready? Team 7 nodded. Kakashi placed the alarm clock on one of the posts, set it for noon and returned. It took him 3 seconds to do it. Begin. Sakura and Sasuke departed from the field in opposite directions while Kurama stayed behind. Kakashi pulled out an orange book. Whenever you're ready, come at me, Naruto. Aika Aika. Affectionately known as the Makeout series. Looks like Kakashi's a bit of a pervert. Kurama's mouth twisted into a demented leer. He summoned 2 shadow clones and sent them to Sakura and Sasuke so that they could learn about his plan. After the clones dispelled as they were supposed to, Kurama observed Kakashi. He's oozing lust, ripe for the taking. Kurama formed the ram seal, creating a cloud of smoke. When the smoke cleared, he was in his sexy jutsu transformation. Kakashi-sensei, Kurama sang, why don't you drop that book and play with me? I'll make all your wildest fantasies come true. Kakashi nearly dropped his book after hearing Kurama's melodious voice. Come on, Kakashi-sensei, what that book can do is nothing compared to what I can do for you, Kurama said sultrily. She walked with confident strides, her movements doing interesting things to her body. While Kakashi was entranced by Kurama's words, years of battle-honed instincts came to the fray. Get a grip, it's just Naruto. But his libido levels were high due to his book, which made him give in. Kurama stood next to Kakashi, knocking Kakashi's copy of Aika Aika away as she pressed herself against the silver-haired jonin. One of her hands was trailing along Kakashi's back and making circles while the other reached for the bells on Kakashi's hip. Kakashi was impressed by Kurama's ability to manipulate him by using his sex drive against him, but he knew how to nullify Kurama's charms. He grabbed Kurama's hand by her wrist and pushed her back. Hard. Playing hard to get, Kakashi-sensei? Kurama crooned. First lesson, Naruto. Taijutsu, the art of hand-to-hand combat. Kakashi blurred in front of Kurama and punched her in the gut, dispelling her transformation. However, Kurama smiled, grabbing Kakashi's arm and holding on tightly. Now Sasuke. From his position behind a tree, Sasuke watched Naruto's plan unfold. He was initially unimpressed by the plan, and while he thought that it wouldn't work, he didn't express his misgivings on the off chance that it did work. However, after he saw Naruto actually distract Kakashi and saw him, or her, actually come close to grabbing the bells, he smirked. Not bad. Naruto had been surprisingly decent for the past couple of days. Maybe he was finally taking things seriously. Now Sasuke. He rushed to his position and performed the hand seals to the Uchiha clan's rite of passage, the Fireball Jutsu. A large jet of flame erupted from Sasuke's mouth, engulfing Kakashi and Naruto. After the flames subsided, Sasuke saw a burnt log. Naruto'll be alright, won't he? Sasuke snorted. One thing Naruto does is never give up, even if he is, or was, the dead last. Observing Naruto strut over to Kakashi-sensei completely naked from her hiding spot in a nearby bush, Sakura resisted the urge to gag. Just when I thought that Naruto might be cool, he does something so pervert. And it doesn't help that Naruto in that form is so hot. Sakura froze. Never mind. Nevertheless, Sakura kept Naruto's plan in mind in case it did work and stood by in her position. After Sasuke used his Fireball Jutsu, Sakura searched for Kakashi-sensei and threw the kunai Naruto gave her when she found him. Why is this kunai so special? Sakura asked. Naruto grinned. You'll see. True to his word, the kunai transformed into Naruto just before it flew past Kakashi-sensei, his outstretched hand grabbing for the bells. Kakashi-sensei stepped to the side and slammed Naruto onto the ground with a mighty axe kick. Ouch. Hopefully Naruto will be okay. The shadow clone that Kurama formed just before he used the sexy jutsu saved him from getting burned. He still could feel an unpleasant burning sensation tingling throughout his body. The other shadow clone getting slammed into the ground wasn't much better, but fortunately, everything was going to plan. I don't want him to get suspicious about me being able to use my inner chakra, since explaining it would be too much of a hassle. Kurama formed more shadow clones and rushed with them towards Kakashi. Time for a hands-on approach. Come back for more, Naruto? Or are you just going to hide behind your clones like a coward? Damn scarecrow. Wait. This is just what he wants. Kurama had worked hard at restraining his impulses. If he got distracted, he would lose focus. And if he lost focus, he would fall back into his previous habits that only hindered him. Kurama stopped just before reaching Kakashi and threw a smoke bomb at him. The smoke screen obscured Kakashi's vision, giving Kurama the opportunity to give his surprisingly compliant teammates some more ideas about how to get the bells. I may not play well with others, but some things require you to swallow your pride. Kurama knew that in order to get the bells, he would have to work with his teammates. Creating distractions, catching Kakashi off guard, he would do that and more to pass. He wasn't going back to the academy for another year, not if he had anything to say about it. Sakura came out of her hiding place while the smoke screen was out and formed 4 clones with the clone jutsu, intending for them to run interference while she stayed back. Sasuke followed close behind, weaving through the hand seals to the Fireball Jutsu once again. Let's try something out. Kurama didn't have an opportunity to try out his chakra transfer technique yet, but this was as good an opportunity as any to test out said technique's limits. Just before the smoke cleared, Kurama went behind Sasuke and pushed a non-corrosive version of his tailed beast chakra into him, while his and Sakura's clones attacked Kakashi. Fire style. Fireball Jutsu. The resulting fireball was far bigger and far more potent than Sasuke could ever do before and raced towards Kakashi at a frenetic pace. Kurama reversed the chakra transfer technique, leaving Sasuke winded but still capable of fighting. I may have to work on refining the transfer reversal. The fireball dissipated, with nothing but burnt grass and dirt remaining, the memories of being hit by the Fireball Jutsu returning in full force. Thinking that they were in the clear, both Kurama and Sasuke were surprised when two arms grabbed Kurama's legs and pulled him down. Only his head was kept above level thanks to Kakashi's technique. Kakashi rose out of the earth and crouched in front of Kurama. Second lesson, ninjutsu. Care to explain how Sasuke was capable of pulling off such a powerful fireball, Naruto? Kurama looked at Sasuke, nodding slightly. Yes, I will, Kakashi-sensei. I went behind Sasuke. Sasuke got the message and moved behind Kakashi, grabbed him and pushed some chakra into him. Sasuke swiped the bells and shoved Kakashi. Not like that, Sasuke. Sasuke remarked with a smirk, throwing the bells up and catching them with ease. Sakura! Come out, we got the bells! Kurama yelled. Sakura came out and ran to her teammates. When she saw Kurama, she started to giggle hysterically. Naruto, you look so. Sakura laughed harder. Whatever. Kurama pouted, his eye twitching in annoyance. I'll get out of this soon enough, so laugh it up while you still can. After Kakashi allowed Sakura and Sasuke to dig up Kurama, he began his assessment. It's a good thing none of them damaged my book, but they did better than I expected. Not only did they put up a decent showing, they had good teamwork and focused on trickery and misdirection. Sasuke. Now that you have the bells, what will you do with them? Naruto, take a bell. Why? Kurama asked, examining the bell. Your plan wasn't that bad and it was the reason why we were able to get the bells. Kakashi pressed Sasuke. And the other bell? Sakura, take my bell, Kurama said, holding out the silver bell. Why? Sakura asked in confusion. You deserve it the most. I just made the plan. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to distract Kakashi-sensei while Sasuke prepared the fireball. If Sasuke didn't grab the bells, then my efforts would have been for nothing and we would have failed. Sakura shook her head. I can't. You take it. Sasuke put a hand in his pocket. Sakura, take the bell. I'll give Naruto mine, since all I did was shoot fireballs at Kakashi. You created a diversion and threw Naruto's shadow clone to Kakashi, giving him an opportunity to get the bells. Impressive. They understood the point of the test. Kakashi smiled. Congratulations, Team 7. You pass. Why? Kurama asked on behalf of his teammates. My test was to see if you could work together to try and get the bells. No matter how skilled, a green genin wouldn't have been able to defeat a jonin in battle. It would require you to join forces to stand a chance of passing the test. While you might have been inspired to work on your own at the expense of your teammates, it wouldn't have worked out for you, due to your lack of skill. When you three worked together as a team, you showed me that you understood the concept of teamwork. Teamwork is the lifeblood of ninja affiliated to a hidden village. Even a team with weak or average members that has perfect chemistry and teamwork can overcome a team of geniuses that cannot work together. Divided you fall, but united we stand, Kakashi finished. He motioned his new team to follow him to the memorial stone, where 3 boxed lunches lay on the stone's pedestal. Do you know what this is? Sakura answered. It's the memorial stone. Correct. Kakashi pointed at the stone. The memorial stone was made to honor heroes who gave their lives for the sake of the village. Nearly all of my precious people are on this stone. While Kakashi was speaking, Kurama looked for a certain name. He found it. Minato Namikaze, Kurama whispered out. Does he know who his father is? What was that, Naruto? Kakashi asked. Nothing, just wondering about him is all, Kurama answered. He knew who his father was. It can't have been just a coincidence that Minato sealed him into a newborn child who looked a lot like him. It can't have been just a coincidence that Kushina Uzumaki, Minato's wife, gave birth to a child with whiskers, the sign that the child's mother was a Jinchuriki, his Jinchuriki. He was also fully aware of his previous container's pregnancy, and childbirth, the event that triggered his release from the seal. He was my sensei, so if you want, I can tell you a story about him sometime, Kakashi revealed, breaking Kurama's train of thought. Kurama nodded in acknowledgement. It would be good to know what type of man Minato was and what kind of man would seal a tailed beast inside his own son and leave him to fend for himself. It would be interesting to learn if the real Minato was anything like the legendary Yellow Flash was reputed to be like. Sakura stared at Kakashi in wide-eyed amazement. Sasuke hid his amazement behind a cool facade, but what gave him away was the glint in his eyes. Kakashi picked up the lunches and handed them to his team. Here you go. Since you're the first team to pass my test, I'll expect you to meet here tomorrow, where we will begin our first day as Team 7. Kakashi I smiled, then vanished in a swirl of leaves. Team 7 had defied his expectations. Even though they were inexperienced and had flaws that needed ironing out, they had some potential. This will definitely be interesting, that's for sure. Sasuke was leaning against a tree, hands in his pockets. He and his teammate had been waiting in silence for the past few minutes, and he had thought about many things. Not only had he improved as a shinobi, he had acquired 2 techniques that were invaluable to their victory over Kakashi the day before. It bugged him. Naruto. Kurama looked up from his seat on the memorial stone's pedestal. What is it? What was the technique he used to make my fireball bigger? The technique had come out of nowhere, and it had taken over his thoughts at how much stronger he had become. He needed to know what it was. Kurama blinked. You were there when I explained the technique, weren't you? Sasuke nodded. Where did you learn the technique? I never felt so powerful. Kurama stood up and walked towards Sasuke. Do you have the Sharingan? This is the second time he's asked. Why are you so interested in that all of a sudden? Sasuke asked. Like I said the other day, I just want to know if you have it, Kurama replied. Sasuke mumbled something incoherent. Speak up. What did you say? Sasuke pulled his hands out of his pockets and pushed off the tree. Didn't you hear me? I don't have it. Good. He's not a threat, not yet that is. Kurama smirked. Fine. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed about not having it, you know. Sasuke scowled. What would you know? Kurama raised an eyebrow, lips quirked into a frown. Explain. They were standing face to face. Never mind, it's not that important, Sasuke lied. All right. Kurama walked back to the memorial stone and sat down on the pedestal once again. I'm making progress. I just need to wait it out and let Sasuke come to me. I'll make sure that an Uchiha never controls me with his Sharingan ever again. Sakura woke up late after spending part of the night mulling over her parents' speech, about how she had to take responsibility for herself and be the best ninja she could be. They said she had to start toning down the habits she got from the academy. Barely training, not eating a lot and other minor quirks that added up over time. They had a point, but she was certain that they might have exaggerated on some of the finer details. In her rush to get to the memorial stone, she barely got time to eat a full breakfast and prepare for her first team meeting the way she wanted to. For one, she had to cut down on the time she spent in the shower. Her hair didn't maintain itself, and it was one of her finest traits. After a frantic, non-stop sprint, she finally arrived at the memorial stone, immediately clutching her knees and panting loudly to regain her breath. She looked around and saw her teammates. Kakashi was fortunately nowhere to be found. Her efforts hadn't been in vain. She didn't want to be late, and not just because she wanted to start fresh. She didn't want to start making a habit of it. Straightening herself up, Sakura walked to her teammates. Hey Naruto, Sasuke. Naruto waved at her while Sasuke made eye contact with her and nodded. When did you guys get here? I came here about 10 minutes after Sasuke did, Naruto replied. Sakura turned her head around, scanning the area. So Kakashi-sensei hasn't come yet? Nope. He's late. Again Naruto deadpanned. Sakura plopped down to the ground. Looks like we'll have to wait. Again. Kakashi arrived about 10 minutes after Sakura did, appearing almost instantaneously. When he saw his new team, he rubbed the back of his head. Next time, we're meeting somewhere else. How can I reminisce if my team waits here? It wasn't a good habit for him, but Kakashi knew that he had a reputation of being late, so he took the time to indulge in his daily routine as often as he could. Hello, my cute little genin, Kakashi said with a wave of his hand. Sakura jumped up to her feet, a glare marring her features. You're late, but not as late as the last couple of times, Kurama remarked. Sasuke snorted in agreement. Kakashi shrugged. I don't really have an excuse as to why I'm late, so we'll begin with some light exercise before we do skill assessment. Why do you need to test us, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, curiosity overcoming her ire. That's for me to know and for you to figure out, Kakashi replied. Yesterday's test had inspired Kakashi to test his new team, since it was possible that there might have been some discrepancies in the Academy's reports. And it was always good to know a team's potential limitations and strengths, after all. Now let's get started. After following Kakashi's example and performing multiple stretches, along with a lot of jogging, Team 7 returned to the 3 training posts. Sakura was panting heavily while Sasuke and Kurama were only lightly affected by the exercise. Kakashi tucked away his book. Now that you've warmed up, it's time for you to spar against me. You call that light exercise? Sakura breathed out. Yes, that was pretty light, Kakashi replied. Since you seem to be tired, you can sit out for the first round of sparring. Sakura sat down wordlessly, a wide smile on her face. Okay then. Naruto, it's time for me to see if you actually deserve your ranking as the Academy's worst student. Who knows? Maybe you won't be pathetic. Maybe, and this is more likely, you'll be a lot worse. Kurama approached Kakashi, tightening his fists. Sasuke leaned against the training post and watched attentively. Besides that technique and his shadow clones, Naruto shouldn't have become that much stronger in just a week. Let's see how the dead last does. Yes, Naruto, before we begin, this is a taijutsu-only battle. Damn, no shadow clones. Kurama scoffed, but before he could complain, he thought about how it would be a good test of his ability to fight without any crutches, so to speak. Now to layer on the excitement, let me show you how awesome my taijutsu really is. Kurama exclaimed. Kakashi I smiled. Whenever you're ready you can begin. Kurama ran towards Kakashi, jumping into the air and putting all of his weight behind his punch. Kakashi stepped out of the way and watched as Kurama opened his fist and planted his palm on the ground, turning on the spot so that he could face the silver-haired man. Springing up from his crouching position, Kurama began to hit Kakashi with a series of unpredictable punches. Parrying the strikes effortlessly, Kakashi took advantage of an opening in Kurama's defense and punched him in the stomach, dropping him to his knees and planting him on his back with a straight-legged stomp. Kakashi jumped up in order to avoid Kurama's leg sweep after the blonde staggered to his feet. After he made a safe landing, Kakashi sent Kurama face first into the ground with a punishing backhanded fist. Your fighting style is too impulsive. You focus more on hitting your opponent than anticipating his or her attacks than reacting accordingly. Learn to adapt and react. You can do that, right? Kurama got up, spitting at the ground. Of course. I'm not through with you yet. As Kurama and Kakashi continued to spar, Kurama's attacks slowly became more focused while simultaneously keeping his signature unpredictability. Kakashi began to take the fight more seriously as a result. Noting Kurama's ingenuity, Kurama would bait him into one attack, then follow up with an attack from a different angle. That's enough for now, Naruto, Kakashi said after a few more minutes of sparring. He had got what he wanted. Kurama was able to keep cool under pressure, he could adapt pretty well and his pain tolerance and stamina were as good as he predicted it would be. You did alright, better than I would have expected, in fact. Especially since I heard you were the dead last. I figured you'd live up to your rep, and then some. Kurama's brow furrowed. Taijutsu was the thing I got the best marks in. He frowned. But I do need some help. I'll make sure that you improve, Naruto. Kakashi ruffled Kurama's hair. Kurama had a dazed, yet happy expression on his face. Almost as good as getting my ears scratched. Kurama thought. Kakashi smiled from under his mask. Alright, Sasuke, you're up. After Kakashi sparred with Sasuke and Sakura, he let his team take a breather. Sasuke's taijutsu was quite good, for a rookie. While he was aggressive, his attacks were controlled, his reflexes were excellent, and he was fast. The day Sasuke unlocked the Sharingan, his combat ability would rise dramatically with its ability to enhance the user's perception, reflexes and its capability to predict the opponent's movements. However, he would need to learn that the Sharingan was only a tool and not a one-way ticket to being the strongest. Sakura's taijutsu was textbook and rigid, with no innovation whatsoever, and she was hesitant too. Unlike Naruto, whose unpredictability overcame his flawed technique and Sasuke's reflexive, intercepting style, Sakura's taijutsu was mediocre, and she had little motivation. But when Kakashi goaded her in order to throw off her composure, the opposite happened. Her punches and kicks became much harder, and she was determined to hurt him. If I can get her to consciously fight like that, she'll be a force to be reckoned with. Kind of like her mother was. Team, front and center. All three of them lounged towards Kakashi, still battered from their previous spar. You did well. I've gotten a basic idea of where you can improve with regards to taijutsu, Kakashi started. He faced Naruto. Naruto, you need to improve your technique. Being unpredictable is good, but you have to be able to put in the appropriate amount of force behind your attacks. You also have to leave as few openings as possible when fighting. Even a mediocre fighter would have ruthlessly exploited the amount of openings you made. Kakashi turned to Sakura. Sakura, you need to craft your own style of fighting. If you met an opponent who knew how to counter the Academy's style of taijutsu, you would have been defeated quickly. I also noticed that as the fight went on and you got angrier, your strength and speed increased dramatically. Really? Sakura asked in surprise. Apparently she also lacked confidence in her skill, Kakashi noted. Naruto cut in. Didn't you notice how hard you were hitting when you attacked me back at the academy? Sakura blushed in embarrassment. I never did. I was never angry at taijutsu practice, and I never noticed when I hit you it was just impulse. Kakashi nodded. Well, it's something to consider, Sakura, so we'll see how you can turn your inner strength into something useful. Kakashi moved on to Sasuke. Sasuke, I don't really have any complaints with your technique. You can use your speed to get around your opponent faster, or increase your strength, but those are things that can be solved with fitness training. A small smirk appeared on Sasuke's face. Tomorrow, we won't be meeting here. Instead we'll be meeting at the bridge over the river, the one with the 3 torii. Why? Sakura asked. It's more convenient, Kakashi replied. For me, that is. Before Sakura could protest, Kakashi turned to Naruto. By the way, Naruto, Lord Hokage instructed me to tell you to go to his office after team training. Why? Naruto asked indignantly. He just told me to tell you to go there. Do you have a problem with that? I know a few people in ANBU, so I could get someone to escort you there. Naruto cringed. No thanks. If Kakashi knew any better, he would have thought that Naruto knew the reportedly uncomfortable feeling of being escorted by an ANBU member. Well, I think we've done enough training, don't you? Sakura nodded hesitantly. Kakashi knew she had a lot of potential, and he would do his best to nudge Sakura in the right direction. I have something to do, so I'll see you tomorrow. The Hokage was thinking deeply and nearly didn't notice Kurama enter his office, but decades of experience had helped his situational awareness stay sharp. I'm glad that you could join me, Naruto. Have a seat, the Hokage said pleasantly. After Kurama took the offered seat, the Hokage started speaking. Naruto, how do you like your team and sensei so far? Kurama smiled. They're alright. I thought that I would have had a harder time dealing with both of them since they weren't exactly the nicest people, but they were convinced that I wasn't joking when I made the plan to pass Kakashi-sensei's test. Kakashi-sensei seems to be a decent person, but he's always late and likes to poke fun at everything. Old habits die hard. The Hokage nodded. That's good. Kakashi has told me about a rather interesting technique you performed yesterday. Was it the Shadow Clone Jutsu? Kurama asked. No. His eyes glinted. Kakashi told me how you helped Sasuke create a fireball that was many times larger than what his reported limit was supposed to be, Kurama sighed. I was able to pump some of my chakra into Sasuke, which was used to boost the fireball jutsu's power. You were able to use an advanced chakra transfer technique consciously? That's rather impressive, Naruto. The Hokage's features hardened. Have you spoken with the nine-tailed fox in order to gain such a technique? How did you come to that conclusion? Kurama asked. There have been reports of the Hidden Cloud's Jinchuriki being capable of performing such a technique with the assistance of his tailed beast. It would be safe to assume that the nine-tailed fox would be capable of doing something similar. What tailed beast belongs to Hidden Cloud? It's been too long since I've seen any of them. Kurama chuckled. Maybe there's a tailed beast out there that's just like me, impersonating a child and trying to gain his freedom. In that case, then I have. Might as well reveal some additional information about my training. I've also been training and using the nine-tailed fox's chakra. The Nine-Tails has been cooperative, so far, Kurama smiled afterwards. I hope that you're not letting the demon fox influence you, the Hokage said gravely. I'm not. Kurama did feel influenced by something, but every time he would delve into his mindscape, he would only see the seal where the majority of his powers were being kept and a representation of his body. It's as if whoever or whatever is influencing me wants to stay hidden. At any rate, it's only a matter of time before he or she or it reveals itself. Well, in that case, I'll want to monitor your progress while you train in using the nine-tailed fox's power. We'll have a meeting every second week to discuss your progress. Does that sound okay? Kurama nodded. What about missions? If it's a mission that lasts for more than 2 weeks, then the meeting will take place after your debriefing, the Hokage replied. And out to practice using my chakra all I want. I have to take this opportunity. It would be a waste not to do so. That sounds good. Kurama grinned. Thanks, old man Hokage, the Hokage smiled. It's my pleasure, Naruto. In fact, I have to thank you. Konohamaru has been training much harder, and when I asked him about it, he said that he was inspired by Naruto-sensei. He's a good kid and I felt some sort of relation to him, Kurama explained. Is that so? The Hokage smiled once again, the type of smile that always put Kurama at ease. Well, it looks like both you and Konohamaru will benefit from this new relationship. Kurama could only smile. Things just keep on getting better and better. If that's all, can I go now? The Hokage nodded. He would have to talk to Kakashi about placing more focus on Team 7's training. Not only had Kurama had shown some remarkable progress in more ways than one, Kakashi's reports had shown great promise. Of course, after eating lunch at Ichiraku Ramen, Kurama went to the third training ground and placed himself in front of the training posts. He summoned a shadow clone and started sparring with it. Taking Kakashi's advice into consideration, Kurama adopted a fox-like stance, which left few openings and emphasized both speed and power. Both Kurama and his clone formed a red chakra cloak and didn't forget to suppress any killing intent. He wanted to try and use his tail in combat, as well as his chakra arms. If he mastered using his cloak in that manner, his combat potential would skyrocket. The clone rushed at Kurama, snapping a punch with alarming speed. It looks like my speed and strength increase whenever I use this chakra cloak. Boosting my abilities with my true chakra must be the cause of that. Kurama thought as he swerved towards the left, and used his chakra tail to sweep his clone off of his feet. The clone jumped over the tail and spun like a tornado, releasing an arm made of pure chakra. Kurama released a chakra arm of his own and clutched the clone's approaching chakra arm. With a roar, Kurama ripped the chakra arm clean off from the wrist, without a single sound being made. The clone watched wide-eyed as its creator threw a fist made of chakra at it, dispelling it forcefully as its chest caved in from the impact. I'll have to work on it, but using the chakra cloak to form arms and a tail, hopefully Tails opens a whole new dimension to battle. Kurama thought after dispelling his clone. He grinned demonically. Once Sakura and Sasuke know that I'm a Jinchuriki, our team dynamic will only be that much greater, unless they decide to be like the rest of the village and hate me. Kurama let the chakra cloak recede and felt a bit drained. He noted that it was a side effect of having additional chakra coursing through his chakra network, a side effect he would have to alleviate. At least on himself, before he could send it to others. Exactly like what happened to Sasuke. Sasuke would become a major threat once he unlocked the Sharingan, which was something that would happen soon. If Kurama couldn't stop Sasuke from unlocking the Sharingan, he would make sure to learn how to work around it. With that in mind, he sent 2 transformed shadow clones to the Leaf's archive library to learn more about shinobi tactics and Kekkei Genkai. The shadow clone jutsu was quickly becoming Kurama's most effective technique. The fact that he could gain memories from them was a boon, and they were really useful in a combat situation. Even with the drain the technique caused, he was still feeling alright, so he summoned 4 more clones and sparred against them, creating more clones once they dispelled. Hinata Hyuga was taking a walk through the outlying forests of the Hidden Leaf Village after training with Team 8 had been completed for the day. Hinata was one to walk absently as she would think about life or enjoy the wondrous nature of her home. She was currently thinking about her team, and how they could become a cohesive unit. Kiba and Shino were both nice people, even if the former was brash and the latter was distant. Kurenai-sensei was a great teacher and supportive too, although she never really pushed her like her father did. In fact, Kurenai-sensei trained her less than she trained her other teammates, which was both a good thing and a bad thing. I hope that Kurenai-sensei doesn't think that I'm a failure. Hinata thought as she found herself walking to the third training ground. Father and Hanabi already think I'm one, so I hope that she doesn't think I'm a failure as well. Hinata returned to reality after seeing two people clad in orange run off in different directions. They look familiar. Unperturbed, she continued her walk to find Naruto training with clones of himself. Wait, Naruto wasn't able to use the clone jutsu, so how can he make solid clones? Hinata smiled after quickly figuring out the reason. Naruto's so amazing. I wish I could have even a bit of his determination or dedication to training himself. She hid behind a nearby tree so that Naruto couldn't see her as she watched, drawing inspiration from watching the person she admired the most train. As Hinata continued to watch Naruto train, she noticed something different in the way he acted. His stance and fighting style were far more animalistic than she could remember. In order to get a closer look, Hinata used the Byakugan to monitor Naruto's movements. Chakra pulsed through Naruto's chakra network at an alarmingly fast pace. What was most puzzling to Hinata was how a red chakra would be released from a seal around Naruto's stomach, then immediately convert to the familiar blue kind, if it didn't disappear outright. There was, however, no red chakra surrounding Naruto. Hinata noticed Naruto's chakra output increase as he placed his hands in a cross seal. She was shocked to see the clone move around the clearing and surrounding forest. Oh no, he'll probably see me and wonder why I was watching him. After subconsciously releasing the Byakugan, Hinata ran away from her hiding place and attempted to make her escape, but Naruto caught her before she could do so. Hinata? Hinata's cheeks turned red. Oh, Naruto. Good afternoon. How much of my training did you see? Hinata was saddened when she saw Naruto's ice-cold stare. I only came here after I saw two of your clones leave the area. Naruto relaxed slightly, his eyes warming back into their vibrant blue color. Why would you want to watch me train? You could have asked if you wanted to join me, you know. He doesn't hate me. Thank goodness that he doesn't hate me. Really? Hinata asked nervously. Yeah. My taijutsu needs work, and since you're good at taijutsu, Hinata's cheeks flared up. He wants me to train with him? This is almost as good as being on his team. Even if I'm not that good at taijutsu, I'd love to help you, Naruto. Great. I'll contact you whenever I need your help. Maybe I can get Sakura or Sasuke to join us, since Kakashi-sensei said that our taijutsu needs work. Oh, I'm okay. Whenever I'm available, I'll make sure to help you out. Hinata's blush waned a bit before she continued. As well as your teammates. I'll help them out too, if you'd like that. Naruto smiled that beautiful smile of his. I appreciate it, Hinata. Thanks a lot. Hinata smiled as well, with her blush continuing to spread throughout her face. It's my pleasure to help you, Naruto. Naruto's eyes grew larger, as if he remembered something. Before I forget, Hinata, don't come looking for me if I'm training. I'll come to you, okay? While Hinata was a bit confused by Naruto's words, she didn't deny him his request. Okay, Naruto smiled again. Alright then, Hinata. You're free to continue watching me fight, but you can join in. That is, if you want that. Hinata had a golden opportunity in front of her and didn't hesitate to take it. Smiling brightly, she said, I'd love that. Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand, causing her to flush profusely. Come on. Daylight's burning. Naruto and Hinata ran off to join the real Naruto and his clones, where they began to train for the rest of the day. In the week that followed since Team 7 was formed, Kakashi had drilled Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke in taijutsu forms and gave them intense fitness regimens. While the other two rookie teams were busy completing missions, Kakashi took the time to bring up their physical abilities. And with Naruto's ability to use shadow clones, performing D-rank missions would be easy to do and quick to finish. Kakashi was also impressed with his team's level of teamwork. He had considered making his team do teamwork exercises in order to force them to work together after he read the reports Irika gave to him, the ones about the members of Team 7. That, and observing the potential graduates during graduation week and his would-be team after graduation, he had found that Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura's potential for teamwork was terrible. Naruto's relationship with Sasuke was a one-sided rivalry, since Naruto didn't have the skills to even challenge Sasuke, at the time, and due to his stubbornness, he would never realize that his rivalry with Sasuke was counterproductive and detrimental to his progress as a shinobi. His relationship with Sakura wasn't much better, since he would be just as stubborn when trying to pursue a relationship with the girl. Sakura, who was unaware of how lonely Naruto truly was, would hit him. And she would hit him because she only saw Naruto as an obstacle, a nuisance. And Naruto did nothing to dissuade Sakura's opinion of him until after he graduated. Sakura would apply a similar level of obstinacy in her romantic pursuits with Sasuke, who would coldly reject her advances. Whether it was because of pent-up anger at being rejected or just because of her ignorance, Naruto would suffer in any case. But now, they were slowly becoming a team. Kakashi found that making them doing teamwork exercises would be unnecessary. That and the Hokage requested that he step up his team's training so that he could help them fulfill their collective potential. And after seeing his team's progress, Kakashi had to agree with the Hokage's assessment. Sakura treated Naruto like a person and didn't bother Sasuke as much by toning down her romantic feelings towards the Uchiha heir. Ever since he noted Naruto's new abilities and Sakura's willingness to work harder, Sasuke started treating his teammates with respect. Naruto, who had toned down his stubbornness and impulsive attitude, quickly became the glue that kept the team together. At the same time, he was the one that could break it apart. Ideally, once Naruto revealed his identity as a Jinchuriki, any ignorance or negative perceptions regarding Naruto would evaporate, and the reason behind his rapid progress would be revealed. If it didn't, then all of their progress would have been wasted. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Watching Team 7 jogging alongside the river of the third training ground, Kakashi was proud of his team and their progress. He was especially proud of Naruto. Minato-sensei, if only you could see your son now. You would be so proud of how far he has come, and how much more he might and will accomplish. After another rigorous training session, Team 7 took a cool-down jog along the river. Alright team, come together now. They gathered in front of Kakashi, standing at attention. We're going to break for today. Why, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, a smile tugging at her lips. Your training is doing wonders. Now I'm barely tired from doing our warm-up exercises. Kakashi chuckled. Glad you appreciate it, Sakura. The reason why we're stopping missions early today is because we're going to do our first mission. His team's eyes lit up. About time! Sakura shouted out. Her cheeks tinged red after she realized what she did. I mean, whenever I would see Ino, she would brag about the missions that her team did. Did she tell you what type of mission she did? Kakashi inquired. No. No, she didn't, Sakura snapped. Good. Kakashi thought. Well, you'll be in for a surprise when we get to the mission assignment desk. Come on, let's go. There were a lot of peculiarities surrounding Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke realized. When they went to the mission assignment desk, the Hokage greeted them as he would any other shinobi, but he would treat Naruto especially well. Good afternoon, Team 7, the Hokage said warmly. Good afternoon, Lord Hokage, he replied along with his team. Kakashi, I see that you've finally brought your team over. Do you think that they're ready? The Hokage asked amusedly. Why yes, I do, Lord Hokage. I actually want them to start completing these missions so that we can move on to the next stage of training I have planned for them. Sasuke saw Sakura and Naruto beam at the words next stage of training. He couldn't help but smile as well. Kakashi had been training them pretty well, and he hadn't really been annoyed in days. I'm surprised at how you've taken your team under your wing like this, since you have a, how can I say this, reputation to fail teams. Sasuke blinked. He never knew that Kakashi failed teams in the past. Team 7 has the qualities that I've been seeking, qualities that the other teams didn't have, Kakashi countered, bringing a smile to Sasuke's face. Ah, I see. At any rate, we should assign you a mission. Give them something good. Sasuke was hoping that it would be something that would test their skills as a team. Something tough. Something that would force Naruto to use that incredible technique on him. That power, if I have that man will fall before my might. The Hokage's smile turned into a smirk and Sasuke could tell that it wouldn't be what he was hoping. We have here it comes. What? Naruto and Sakura shouted out. While he was warming up to them, much to his surprise they were still capable of irritating him beyond belief. Lord Hokage, can you repeat what you said please? Kakashi-sensei, he's a legitimate sensei now, asked. It seems that Sasuke here wasn't listening. Of course. You have 3 options. Catching Madame Shijimi's cat Tora, helping a couple move into their new house, and pulling out weeds from Ms. Kidd's garden. These aren't missions, these are glorified chores. Sasuke thought. We'll help out the couple, Lord Hokage, Kakashi-sensei decided. Can't we catch the cat, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. I think that we can help the couple faster than we can catch the cat, Naruto, Kakashi-sensei replied. Fine, Naruto said, seemingly downcast by the turn of events. Why, this was confused Sasuke to no end. So then, it's decided, the Hokage stated. He pulled out a scroll. Kakashi, here is the scroll that lists the details pertaining to your team's mission. And Naruto, don't worry. Worry about what? Kakashi will protect you. Protect him from what? Naruto nodded in understanding. Sure thing, old man Hokage. The Hokage smiled warmly. This is just getting strange. How can Naruto get away with such disrespect? He always remembered his mother lecturing him about giving people the proper address. While it was advice he didn't always follow, Naruto didn't appear to even know anything about proper decorum. Why does Naruto need to be protected from what does he need to be protected? Sasuke knew Naruto had no family, but he never looked like he had any domestic problems. And how in the world is Naruto capable of doing so many high-level techniques? While Sasuke conceded that it might have been possible that Naruto learned the techniques on his own like he did with his training, it was still annoying to see Naruto progress so quickly. He was the dead last from a lost clan. Back in the academy, they were taught that the Uzumaki clan was once a famous clan from the village hidden in the swirling tides and how the Hidden Leaf village had an alliance with the Hidden Whirlpool village before its destruction. But Naruto was the village's only Uzumaki, strangely enough. Why is he so special? Sasuke, are you coming? The source of his contemplation asked. Sasuke returned to reality. There was a lot he didn't know about Naruto, and while it irritated him, it was only a matter of time before he found out. Sakura was walking alongside her team to their mission starting location, the couple's old house. When she had asked Kakashi-sensei about the next stage of training he had mentioned, he had only said that all would be revealed after completing today's mission. Looking at Sasuke, Sakura resisted the urge to blush. She had decided to use a different method to win Sasuke's affection. Instead of pestering him repeatedly with date requests, she had thought about what she did wrong for Sasuke to not acknowledge her. It vexed her, since she couldn't really think about why Sasuke didn't even want to associate with her, Ino or any of the other girls. Sasuke, why don't you like me? She had remembered asking Sasuke one day after training. Sasuke took a moment to think, then he replied, you waste your time on me instead of becoming a stronger kunoichi. I'm only interested in the strong, not the weak. I am strong. At least I want to be. Don't waste your time on trying to impress me with words. Impress me with your actions if you want me to start looking at you. She didn't believe Sasuke at first, but when she asked Kakashi-sensei about it, he repeated what Sasuke said earlier. Some people just have a hard time opening up to people unless they're interesting. Sasuke, I think, is the type of person to value strength above all else, Kakashi-sensei lectured. After that conversation, Sakura had dedicated herself to training, which she had quickly come to enjoy. It also improved her relationship with Sasuke not by much, but it was enough to pacify Sakura for the time being. But at the same time, she couldn't always wait for Sasuke to notice her. I can't do it just for him. My world shouldn't revolve around him. Sakura decided then as she was about to begin her first mission as a kunoichi of the Hidden Leaf that she would become a great kunoichi. Not for Sasuke, for Ino or for anybody, but for herself and her village. Kurama was worried. Not about what would happen to him, but what would happen to the couple if they hated him for what he did on that day. It wasn't like him to worry about killing others, but he didn't exactly want to break down the relationships he had fostered with his team. It took a conscious amount of effort to cultivate those relationships, and everything was going smoothly so far. All right team, we're here, Kakashi said, looking at the scroll. He then approached the door and knocked. A woman with dark brown hair tied up in a low ponytail and green eyes opened it. Are you the ninja team that I requested? Yes. You must be Kagome. I'm Kakashi and my team will be at your service until you have been satisfied. Kagome smiled. Thank you for coming. I needed help with this because my husband is in no condition to be doing any strenuous activity. She looked behind Kakashi and looked at his team, stopping when she saw Kurama. I'm sorry, Kakashi, but I won't accept help from him, Kagome said in an icy tone. Kurama glared at the woman. I am here to help you, to perform a service for you on behalf of my village. I would appreciate it if you let me help you. Kagome was taken aback by Kurama's words. It felt like he was keeping his murderous intent on a leash. Also, Kakashi added, you'll find that Naruto is a very capable individual, perfectly tailored to doing missions like these. Kagome acquiesced, alright. But Naruto, I want no mischief from you, okay? Kurama's killing intent evaporated. Yes. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you. Kagome nodded then showed Team 7 inside. This child is the demon? Kagome thought. He's so polite, but he might just be keeping up appearances. Hopefully Koga doesn't overreact. Once Team 7 entered, they saw piles of boxes stacked across the room. While Kagome was instructing them in what boxes kept what, so that they could know what they could and couldn't carry, Kakashi approached Kurama. Naruto. Yes, Kakashi-sensei? How many shadow clones can you create? Kakashi asked. At least a couple hundred, but I'm not sure of my limit. Kurama answered. Even though the technique he learned from the Scroll of Seals was the multi-shadow clone, he never really tried summoning more than 20 clones at once. Sasuke blinked, his mouth slightly ajar. Sakura just sighed audibly. That's perfect, Kakashi said. Naruto, why would you hold out on us? Sakura asked. Kurama faced his team and smiled deviously. A true ninja never reveals all of his secrets. With the help of Kurama's shadow clones, Team 7 were able to quickly transfer every box that Kagome wanted them to take to her new house. Kagome was initially shocked when she saw many copies of Kurama running in and out of her house, but when she thought about it, it fit what Kakashi said beforehand. Team 7, minus Kurama, stood outside Kagome's house, waiting for her and their team member to arrive. While they were waiting, a man with shoulder-length black hair and dark brown eyes opened the door. He had several burns along the left side of his abdomen, and his left leg was disfigured and heavily bandaged, requiring him to use a crutch to walk around. So you're the team that Kagome requested? The man asked. Kakashi, who was standing on the side, nodded. Yes. She and our team member Naruto should be coming soon. The man's eyes narrowed. Does this Naruto have blonde hair and whisker marks? Maybe he does and maybe he doesn't. He's coming now, so you'll have to wait and see for yourself, Kakashi said coldly. When Kagome and Kurama, carrying the largest box, came to the house, Kagome rushed to her husband's side. Koga, you know that you shouldn't be out and about. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to thank the team who took their time to help a crippled man and his wife out, Koga said with a smile. Kurama took his place next to Sakura after placing the box on the house's porch. He didn't fail to notice Koga glaring at him. Let's see how this goes. Can I help you, sir? Unless you can repair all the damage you've done to me, then no, you can't. Koga snarled. Kurama was confused. All he could see was what looked like burned scars. He might have been in contact with my chakra, but I'm not that sure. I don't know any fire-style ninjutsu, so you can't blame me for what happened to you. Quit playing dumb, you. Koga was interrupted by a wave of killing intent. Not from Kurama, but from Kakashi. Naruto said he didn't do it, so he didn't do it. He's only been helpful and courteous towards your wife when he had every right not to be. Yes, Koga, Kakashi is right, Kagome added. Now just to make sure. I don't remember seeing him, so it would be good to know how he got those injuries. What happened to your leg and body? Kurama asked. Koga took a deep breath. On the night of the nine-tailed fox attack, I was helping evacuate civilians from the village, since I was a chunin at the time. After I was finished, I was walking back to the mission assignment desk to find out ways I could help out, but the nine-tails attacked there just before I could arrive. The residual energy from the attack struck me and it made me suffer third-degree burns. It also forced my leg into a state of decay. Kakashi saw a flaw in Koga's story. Wasn't there a medic team on hand to cure you? Yes, but they couldn't do anything to save my leg, other than healing the burnt flesh and stopping the rotting effect of the chakra spreading past my leg to the rest of my body. The nine-tailed fox cost me my career as an active-duty shinobi. Now I do administrative work to pay the bills. Sakura looked at Koga with a mixture of sympathy and sadness. She was repulsed at how he would just assume that Kurama would do something like that. Sasuke stared at Koga's arm and leg. He then looked at Kurama. Then why would you blame Naruto for something the nine-tailed fox did to you, Koga? Never mind him, Sasuke, Kakashi interjected. He stared at Koga. You should be grateful that the nine-tailed fox didn't kill you, otherwise Kagome here might have suffered without you in her life. Koga thought about everything the team said. Maybe I should be grateful. If I died, I wouldn't have Kagome with me, and for her, I would overcome any pain. Maybe you're right. Kagome placed an arm around Koga's waist and smiled at Team 7. I was only angry at you because of what happened to Koga, Naruto. I hope you can forgive me. Both Sakura and Sasuke just stared in confusion, but Kurama looked at Kagome with a glimmer of joy in his eyes. Apology accepted and thanks again for letting me help you, Kurama said politely. It looks like a little bit of politeness goes a long way. Kagome smiled warmly. It was my pleasure, Naruto. After completing the mission and leaving Koga and Kagome, Kurama walked towards his apartment. I don't regret what I did, but if I had to do it again, I would have killed him, then Kagome, so they could at least be together in death. Hey Naruto, Kakashi called out, appearing next to him. They walked to Kurama's apartment in silence, before Kurama asked Kakashi about why he was walking with him. I could see that you were struggling with hearing Koga's words. It hurts, doesn't it? To be accused of something you didn't do, Kakashi answered. To be honest, Kakashi-sensei, I don't know what to feel. I want to do something productive, but it's like I can never escape the shadow of the nine-tailed fox no matter how far I try to run away from it. Well, it's like this, Naruto. You just have to not worry about it. Do your best in everything that you do. Eventually, if you do good things, people will start thinking of you as Naruto Uzumaki, not the nine-tailed fox. But what happens when they really do know that I'm the nine-tailed fox? Kurama thought. Will Kakashi-sensei run away from me and treat me like Koga or Kagome did, or will he stand by me? Kakashi-sensei has proven to be competent and helpful. Losing his trust would be a setback to fulfilling my goal. Think about it, Naruto. Remember, we're starting with stage 2 of our training, so bring your weapons set with you, alright? I will, Kakashi-sensei. Thanks for the advice. That's what I'm here for, Naruto, Kakashi replied. It was his responsibility to take care of his students, and he would do his very best to make an impact on Kurama's life, and be there for him whenever he needed him to be. They found themselves in front of Kurama's apartment. Well, I have to go. Don't be late tomorrow. Sure thing, Kakashi-sensei, Kurama said with a smile. Kakashi ruffled Kurama's hair, then waved goodbye and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Sakura prepared to spar against her new rival, Sasuke. She fastened her ponytail, pulled down her red shirt, which had a similar design to her dress, and made sure that her weapons holster was fully stocked and strapped over her blue shorts. After making sure that the 2 bangs that she didn't keep tied up with her forehead protector weren't obscuring her vision, she said, I'm ready. Alright then, Kakashi replied. This spar is full contact and will consist of 2 10-minute rounds. After each round ends, we'll have a 1-minute break. Only weapons and taijutsu are allowed. The winner of the spar will be the one who kills their opponent. Kakashi snapped his fingers, creating a spark of fire which bloomed into a flame. Begin! Sasuke deflected the kunai hurtling towards him with his own kunai and sidestepped the oncoming shuriken casually. Sasuke was standing on his toes as Sakura dashed him with a kunai in her hand, parrying her vertical kunai strike with his own kunai. Sakura overcame the recoil she sustained by spinning the spot and lashing out at Sasuke with a thrust kick. Sasuke drove his forearm downwards to block the kick and sent his opponent's leg outwards, taking advantage of Sakura's lapse of balance to give her a roundhouse kick. Sakura's lips twitched upwards as she struck his calf with the rounded hilt of her kunai. Wincing in pain, Sasuke gritted his teeth and drew his leg back. Sakura reversed her grip on the kunai, but before she could stab him, Sasuke grabbed her wrist with his left hand and pulled it upwards, exploiting an opening so that he could jab her ribs with his kunai's hilt. Once he made contact, he quickly created distance between them, preparing the next stage of the fight. Withdrawing his kunai, Sasuke took out 4 shuriken. He threw the first shuriken at a wide angle towards Sakura's left side, throwing 2 more shuriken to her right. Thinking that she was in the clear, Sakura dashed forward, grinding to a halt after she saw Sasuke smirk. Sasuke threw his last shuriken at Sakura's forehead, and she deflected it like he expected she would. Sakura continued to run towards her opponent, but before she could reach Sasuke, she felt a stinging pain from her back and dropped to her knees. 3 shuriken were jetting out of her back. What Sakura didn't see was that Sasuke had attached ninja wire to his shuriken, allowing him to pull them back in a boomerang-like effect. Sasuke pulled out the kunai he had stored and placed it against Sakura's throat, closing the distance between them with ease. Match, Kakashi said. He came to Sakura's aid and removed the shuriken, using the mystical palm technique to heal any damage. He had decided to learn the technique while he was in ANBU. After the medic on his squad was killed during a mission and there was no one else that was able to do any sort of healing other than basic first aid. Fortunately for Sakura, she only had minor injuries. Nice match, Sasuke, Sakura said, smiling despite her loss. Sasuke smiled as well. Agreed. You've improved, Sakura. In the 2 weeks since their first D-rank mission, Kakashi had reintroduced weapons to his team and taught them how to apply weapons in both close range and long range battle. It looks like the training regimen I planned is working out for everyone involved, especially Sakura. Kakashi thought. Sakura's stamina had improved dramatically, thanks to her eating a lot more and her extensive stamina training. Sakura complained of fatigue and hunger, which led Kakashi ordering Sakura to change her diet. Sakura's diet was acceptable for someone her age and size, but it wasn't acceptable for a student that studied under Kakashi Hatake. Naruto, come and join us, Kakashi ordered. Kurama stopped throwing kunai and shuriken at makeshift targets and joined his teammates. The constant practice had improved his aim enough that he could pose an actual threat from a distance. What Kakashi had noticed about Kurama's fighting style was that it emphasized brutal takedowns. It left few openings for counterattacks, despite it appearing to be far more feral and reckless, especially when he compared the style to Sasuke or Sakura's. Kakashi had at least made sure that Kurama's attacks were performed properly so that he didn't needlessly waste energy. Kakashi didn't force Kurama to swap fighting styles, however, since his style of fighting had been proven to be quite effective. Alright, team, listen up. We've already completed enough D-rank missions, and since I'm satisfied with your progress so far, I've found a suitable C-rank mission for us to do. Sasuke smirked, Sakura smiled brightly, and Kurama had an unreadable look on his face. Once we've completed this mission, we'll be starting on chakra control and genjutsu. Excuse me, Kakashi-sensei? Yes, Sakura? Sakura exhaled softly. When are we going to learn more ninjutsu? I don't have any other techniques besides the Academy 3, but Sasuke can use fire-style jutsu and Naruto can use shadow clones. And my dad said that he'd only teach me his techniques once you did. I need to assess your chakra control and find out your chakra affinity before I can teach you any ninjutsu, Kakashi replied plainly. Sakura nodded. I understand, Kakashi-sensei, but it's fun. Learning new techniques then applying them in practice. A small smile came to her lips. I never imagined it to be so exciting, Kakashi smiled. I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself, Sakura. But you do know that this is a gradual process, right? You've already much stronger than you were when you started your ninja career. You should have faith in my capabilities to teach you. I do. Sakura trailed off. Her cheeks were colored red. Sorry, Kakashi-sensei, I'm just so excited nowadays. It's alright. Kakashi tousled Sakura's hair. Alright team, let's head to the mission assignment desk. Team 7 found themselves investigating a series of murders in a nearby village. There were rumors of bandits or mercenaries being the source of the murders, but they were unreliable. So when the Hokage gave them the mission, Kakashi had his team take it. It would be a decent excursion outside the village, and a wake-up call for the genin if all went according to plan. Kakashi wasn't worried about the mission presenting any serious danger. He was confident that as long as there was no shinobi amongst the bandits' ranks, his students could handle anything sent their way. I've been teaching these kids how to kill. They know the theory, now they just have to execute it. If you run into a bandit or mercenary, I want you to kill them, Kakashi said as they walked to the village. Kill? Sakura repeated. Kakashi nodded. They will kill you if they see you, so don't show them any mercy. Sakura blanched, but Kurama grinned venomously. I haven't killed anybody in over 12 years. It'll feel good bathing in the blood of those wastes of skin. You aren't looking forward to seeing a bandit, are you, Naruto? Sakura asked. I am, Sakura, Kurama replied darkly. Might as well get the first kill out of the way. And it'll be a good opportunity to test out my skills. You're awfully casual about murder, Naruto, Kakashi noted. It's almost like you've done it before. Please. I think the whole overreacting to murder thing is overrated. Kurama replied without missing a beat. You go in, you end the person's life, you get out. Simple, easy, efficient. Prove it then, Sasuke said coldly. If you don't chicken out or suffer from shell shock, then we'll see if your words have any merit. Kurama grinned widely, although there was nothing that Sasuke said that could warrant a grin like that. Gladly. Hopefully I don't have to eat my words. Sasuke thought. Besides, once I get used to killing, then I'll be able to kill him. No remorse, no regrets. Just do your best. Sasuke paused at his train of thought. Naruto's ninja way is useful, to say the least. Team 7 stepped inside the village. The village was filled with houses that were colored in dark shades. Some of them were showing signs of decay, ranging from having chipped off paint to the roofs having more holes than a pincushion. The overcast sky made the damaged town feel even more somber and ominous. However, there were a few buildings that were in near-perfect condition, which rose Kakashi's interest in the small town. Alright, team. Make yourselves inconspicuous and look out for clues. Take these. Kakashi took out 4 wireless headsets, and use them to communicate if you find anything. We'll meet back here at 5 sharp. Placing the headsets on their ears, Team 7 split up. Kurama formed 2 shadow clones and had them trail behind Sakura and Sasuke, with instructions to dispel if they found anything suspicious. He created an additional shadow clone to follow Kakashi, who was instructed to act as an information relay. He went to the nearest bar and used the sexy jutsu before entering. Once he transformed, Kurama entered the bar and went to the bartender, pulling her new trench coat over her otherwise naked body. The dark green trench coat went down to the middle of her thighs and hugged her curvaceous figure, while exposing her bountiful cleavage. Hello there, Kurama said to the bartender in a sultry tone. I've wandered into town looking for a good time. Why don't you tell me a bit more about what I can get here? There's nothing special about this town, the bartender replied. Well, except for the fact that we've been hit with a series of murders. Really? Kurama asked. Do you know who's responsible for this? It's just a local gang trying to gain control of the town. Does this gang have any ninja? The bartender shook his head. Kurama leaned forward, pressing her arms on the table. Where can I find them? Some of the thugs who work for the gang frequent this bar, so if you come back a bit later, maybe you'll find what you're looking for, the bartender answered. Kurama smiled. I'll keep that in mind. See you then. Giving him a wink, Kurama walked out of the bar, her wide hips swaying with every step. Once outside, Kurama stopped his transformation and contacted Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I've got a potential lead. Good job, Naruto. Send me any information that you find. Sure thing. Kurama created a shadow clone then dispelled it immediately, which informed all of his clones of his new information and additional instructions to follow. This jutsu is on another level of usefulness. A wide grin enveloped Kurama's features. Now, to find some more leads. Sakura was walking through one of the village's many alleys. Although there weren't many gangsters or bandits in the Hidden Leaf village, Sakura was aware that they were more likely to prey on the weak and out-of-the-way locations. She knew what she would have to do if she found one. Contact Kakashi-sensei, and if necessary, kill the unlucky person. Both of her parents were ninja and she had been told that if she could overcome the nausea and rush of emotions the first kill brought, she would be alright. I'm a ninja now, just like Mom and Dad are. And once I get this out of the way, I'll be an even better ninja. Sakura thought. Stealing her resolve, she began to walk with a renewed vigor in her step. Sasuke was wandering through the village's streets. He noted that most of the village was quiet, which was unusual at this time of day. It was also eerily familiar. I have 3 hours left before I have to join up with the team. Let's make the most of that time. Sasuke decided to take the direct approach, knocking on the door of one of the larger houses. A young boy with dark brown hair opened it, darting his head left to right before looking at the person in front of him with wide eyes. Can I help you, sir? Sasuke, who had transformed into an unremarkable man that was wearing dull brown clothing and had normally shaped black hair and black eyes, responded in a voice that was scratchier than his own. I just came into town. I'm looking for some information. A woman with piercing brown eyes that glinted red in the light and short, brown hair with pale blue tips walked behind the boy. Tucked into her blue long-sleeved shirt was a pair of dented glasses with a dark yellow frame and orange lenses, and she was also wearing a pair of white pants. She placed a hand on the boy, and when the boy looked at her, she gave him a warm smile. Shinji, let me deal with the stranger, okay? Shinji nodded, then walked inside the house. Sasuke looked at Shinji run and felt a phantom pain in his heart after seeing the display of affection. Once he was out of earshot, Shinji's mother began to speak. Why are you here? You are a shinobi, aren't you? Sasuke blinked. How could you tell? I know everybody in this village and I haven't seen you before, the woman replied sharply. Not only that, a mission request was sent to the Hidden Leaf village not too long ago. So, what are you doing here? Sasuke sighed and dispelled the transformation. I was sent to investigate the recent set of murders. Do you have any information for me? No, she replied after a tense moment of contemplation. How annoying. If I know who is involved, I can help make sure that these murders stop. Sasuke explained. Shinji's mother gasped. You're just a boy. How can you stop those monsters? My team and I will take care of it. Just tell me, Sasuke growled. Shinji's mother acquiesced after a sigh of irritation. They have a set of meeting places scattered around the village. I only know of 3: the local bar, the town's casino, and a gathering hall of sorts. I see. This information might be useful. The woman relaxed. Those monsters killed my husband. Don't let them kill my son, please. I won't, Sasuke said convincingly, before walking away. He sympathized with the woman and her son, having been on the receiving end of a monster tearing his family apart. I won't let another massacre happen if I can help it, not on my life, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke said after contacting him. I've found potential hideouts for our targets. Tell me the locations, Kakashi-sensei replied. A bar, a casino and a gathering hall. Kakashi-sensei supposedly was pondering something, then answered Sasuke with, good work, Sasuke. I'll be sure to contact Naruto and Sakura to relay the information. HN. Team 7 stood at the entrance to the dilapidated village. After reviewing and comparing their discoveries, Kurama said, so, what's the plan, sensei? We're going to separate into 2 groups, Kakashi replied. I'll accompany Sakura and Sasuke when they go to the gathering hall. Naruto, I want you to infiltrate the bar again and draw as much attention as possible to yourself. That way, we can find out the identities of the gang members and kill them. I also want you to leave a shadow clone with us. Kurama formed a shadow clone then used the sexy jutsu once more. Here you go, Kakashi-sensei. I will never get used to that form. Kakashi thought. At least Naruto's wearing clothes this time. Sakura thought, repressing an urge to scold her teammate for his perverseness. Well, I'll be going now, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura, Sasuke. Stay safe. Kurama sauntered off. While she was strolling to the bar, she allowed herself to become lost in her thoughts. This sexy jutsu must have some sort of alternate personality. I'll have to force myself to switch it off and on, since it can really be inconvenient sometimes. Once Kurama entered the bar, she went to the bar counter and sat on one of the stools. You're back, the bartender said while cleaning one of his glasses with a cloth. Yes, I am. Anything special happen while I was gone? Kurama asked. A man that was seen at the site of at least one of the murders has arrived with his accomplices. The bartender turned, looking at the man in his group. The man was shorter than his accomplices and his spiky black hair accentuated his scarred but chiseled face. But he reeked of negative emotions, anger, malevolence, and something sinister rolled off of him in waves. He must be the one behind the murders then. Kurama thought. Mr. Bartender, please leave. The bartender dropped the glass on the bar counter, but fortunately for him, it didn't break. I can't. Who will serve that man if I leave? Kurama smirked. I'll take care of him for you. Now go. The bartender left the bar hurriedly, recognizing the implication behind Kurama's words. After he left, Kurama rose up from the stool she was sitting on and after tightening her trench coat around her transformed body, she moved to the man's table. The man was busy drinking sake and was surrounded by 5 others. Hey there, Kurama said huskily. I noticed you from over there, and I wanted to know if you needed company. Glad you could join us, miss. May I have the pleasure of learning your name? The man said affably. Kurama smiled playfully, noting with interest the way the man's eyes roved across his transformed body. It's common courtesy to give your name first, isn't it? It's Toji. Toji looked around the bar and didn't notice the bartender. Where's the bartender? Kurama's smile grew wider. He went out for a break. Toji had a man much larger than he was come to him. Whispering in his ear, he said, Go and get the bartender back here or else I'll be forced to kill him like I killed that bitch's husband for the slight he made against me. Understand, Ida? Ida nodded, but before he could run off, Kurama grabbed his arm. Why don't you stay, Ida? Like I said, the bartender is only taking a break. Toji stood up and shoved the table in front of him out of the way. You must be new here, woman. Nobody crosses me, do you understand? Looks like I struck a nerve. Of course. Kurama's smile turned malicious as a wave of killing intent struck Toji, Ida and the other bandits. You've revealed everything I need to know, Toji. Now Kurama tilted her head backwards and laughed. When she snapped her head back, an evil smirk pulled at her lips. You die. Kurama transformed back to normal. Toji laughed. You're just a kid, you may be a ninja, but you're still weak. Toji poked Kurama on his chest. Pathetic. You're the one that's going to die, little boy. Mommy's not going to be here to save your soon-to-be dead ass. Kurama created a shadow clone and dispelled it immediately, making the rest of Toji's group stand up, knocking away the chairs. After the smokescreen dissipated, Kurama released some of his tailed beast chakra and drew out a kunai, ready to engage the group of standing bandits. Toji couldn't exactly place how Kurama changed until he looked at his eyes. Your eyes. What happened to your eyes? Wouldn't you love to know? Kurama threw the kunai at a bandit, piercing his heart and killing him instantly. One down, 4 to go. Pulling out another kunai, Kurama dashed to the nearest bandit and knocked his punch to the side, grabbed his wrist and stabbed the kunai into the bandit's forearm. He proceeded to drag the kunai through his arm, tearing through flesh, muscle and veins before pulling out the kunai and slicing his throat in one motion, killing him and stopping his screams of agony. Who's next? Kurama shouted, a manic grin pulling his lips wide. One of the bandits tried to run away, but dropped to the ground after his skull was pierced by a kunai. Another bandit tried to hit Kurama with a chair, but he was stopped when Kurama used a chakra arm to launch the bandit into the wall. He became groggy from getting his head knocked, and Kurama threw a kunai at his forehead, ending his life in an instant. Ida brandished a hammer and swung sideways, but he missed when Kurama jumped over the hammer and slashed downwards using his extended fingernails. He then wrapped his tail around Aida's neck, choking him to death and leaving a gruesome burn on the dead man's neck. Toji was positive that Kurama would be no threat, But as each one of his men dropped dead, his confidence started to falter until he realized he was the only one left. Kurama laughed maniacally as he closed the distance between him and Toji and punched him before he could react, breaking his jaw and knocking him out. Maybe he'll be useful for interrogation or something, Kurama thought, stopping himself from burying another one of his kunai into Toji. After he tied up Toji with ninja wire, he looked around to assess the damage he dealt. He had either killed or incapacitated every single person in the room. Looks like Kakashi-sensei's lessons did the trick. My kills were clean and satisfying, not to mention effective. Kurama gave the largest grin he could muster. Excellent. Kakashi, Sakura and Sasuke went to the bar after they received the message from Naruto and finished their job. And Naruto? Sakura called out. She was shaken after killing some of the bandits, but wasn't willing to break down over it, not when she needed to be strong. Yes, Sakura? Naruto rasped. His voice sounded far more evil than what she was used to. Are you alright? She asked hesitantly. Naruto approached her, a red cloak of chakra flowing around him. The metallic smell of blood lingered in the air and tables and chairs were sprawled across the bar's floor. What happened to him? Never felt better, he said with a grin. The cloak of chakra and the feeling of death emanating from him disappeared. Kakashi-sensei, how did it go on your side? Kakashi focused his senses, momentarily distracted by the sheer killing intent Naruto exuded. We managed to kill everyone inside the casino, but there was nobody inside the gathering hall. And you? I killed 5 bandits but left their leader Toji alive, so that he could be interrogated, Naruto reported nonchalantly. Kakashi blinked. Naruto was covered in blood and didn't bat an eye. Is that so? Well then, I'll have to make Toji squeal. I want first crack at him, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke said angrily. His hands were stained with blood and his eyes were more expressive than they usually would be. Why is that, Sasuke? Kakashi asked. For what he did to that boy's mother, he'll pay. Sasuke snarled. Maybe Sasuke's just a bit shaken from killing those bandits. Fine, but when I dismiss you, you will leave, understand? Yes, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke acquiesced. Kakashi picked up Toji and hefted him onto his shoulder before leaving the bar, with Sasuke following close behind. After the bartender returned, he was shocked to see all the dead, mutilated bodies lying around. Kurama was able to defuse the situation, however, and gained the bartender's trust after showing him his transformation. Can you get me a glass of water? Kurama asked. Yes, anything for you, Naruto. You and your friends saved our village. The bartender took a glass, filled it with water and handed it to Kurama with a smile on his face. He took it and sat beside Sakura. How did it go, Sakura? Kurama began slowly. Sakura started to unravel, unable to keep herself from breaking down. I can't stop thinking about it. I know that those people were bad and that I did a good thing, but I nearly froze up after I killed them. It's a good thing that I didn't, because if I did, then I'd probably be dead. I mean, there was that desensitization training back at the academy, but it didn't work. I still see myself stabbing those bandits, over and over and over, Sakura babbled, struggling to get a hold on her rampant emotions. Sakura. Calm down. Here's some water. Kurama gave Sakura the glass and watched Sakura down it greedily. Thanks, Naruto. Can I ask you something? Sakura asked. Kurama nodded. What in the world was that red chakra that surrounded you? How did you use it? I'll tell you later, Kurama replied. Okay, an awkward silence came over them. Sakura clenched her fist, trying to keep herself from shivering. Why aren't you bothered by killing those bandits? How can I say this? Kurama thought. I mean, I think differently from these humans, since I don't exactly value human life. But I can't use that as a reason. It was either me or them and they deserved to die. It might be hard to accept that you have to kill in order to continue living, but that's what you signed up for when you became a hidden leaf kunoichi. So don't feel remorse and don't have any regrets for what you did, okay? Sakura smiled, although it was a strained one. I understand. Maybe there's hope for her yet. I will not tolerate her presence if she becomes weak-willed. If I have to be nice and help her, then so be it. I'm glad that you do, Kurama said with a smile. After a few moments, Sasuke walked into the bar. He was shivering and his face was ghost white. Bartender, can I? Sasuke coughed into his hand. Get a glass of water, please? The bartender nodded. After Sasuke shakily took the glass of water, he slowly moved towards his teammates. Sasuke! Sakura screamed. Are you okay? Even if Sakura saw Sasuke as her rival, her feelings for him didn't diminish as much as Sasuke would have hoped. Just a bit under the weather, Sasuke lied. Naruto, how are you able to kill someone, anyone, without it flashing through your eyes repeatedly? I'll tell you, but first Sasuke. This Kurama waved his hand around Sasuke's face and body. This isn't like you. What happened? Sasuke took a sip from his drink and began to tell his teammates about Toji's interrogation. Flashback. In a secluded area of the village, Kakashi woke up Toji by slapping him. Hard. Wake up. Kakashi growled. Toji woke up abruptly, finding himself tied up. What are you doing here? Where's that demon kid? Kakashi slapped Toji with the back of his hand, burying his knuckles into the gangster's face. Keep quiet. We ask the questions here. Allow me, sensei. Sasuke stooped down to face Toji. You pathetic piece of trash. How could you kill that woman's husband? Do you know what you've done? What do you care, boy? That bitch deserved everything she got. Not only did her husband humiliate me in front of my henchmen, she denying me her body after I got my revenge. Toji's words came out slurred, due to his broken jaw. Sasuke's nostrils flared. Monster. Scum like you doesn't deserve to live. You break apart families, you act like you're some sort of gift to the world, but you aren't, you're trash. Sasuke spat at the bandit. Okay, Sasuke, that's enough. Now, Toji, who are you working for? Kakashi asked. I work for myself, Toji snapped. Kakashi stepped on Toji's shin. Don't lie to me. You're just a common thug with delusions of grandeur. Who do you work for? Toji didn't speak, wincing in pain from having his shin cracked. Fine then. Kakashi snapped his fingers, creating a small flame. If you don't tell me who you work for, I will have no choice but to take extreme measures. It's your choice. Toji was tight-lipped, but as Kakashi moved the flame towards his crotch, he screamed, Okay. I work for a man named Gato. He wanted to spread his influence to the land of fire, which was why he sent me to wreak havoc in this village. Take that flame away from me. Kakashi dispersed the flame, then wreathed his hand in lightning and placed it on Toji's heart, shocking the gangster to death. Sasuke watched as Toji convulsed and writhed in pain. The lights in his eyes dimmed until becoming non-existent, and his shaking stopped soon after. It's okay, Sasuke. This is just one of the more unsavory parts of ninja life, Kakashi said as he tried to comfort his troubled student. He took a deep breath. Go back to Naruto and Sakura. I'll join you three as soon as I'm done. End flashback. I've never been so sickened in my life. Between murdering those bandits and having to watch Kakashi-sensei torture and kill that man even if he did deserve it. Sasuke took another sip of water. Sakura held a hand over her mouth and gagged, but managed to remain composed and keep herself from vomiting. It's just a part of ninja life, right? No remorse, no regrets. Just like Naruto says, that's why torture is so unfavorable and pointless. Kurama thought. It's just another name for prolonged death. I agree with Sakura. You're not dead, and you've grown, Sasuke. That's all that matters. You make it look so easy, Naruto, to kill others and not even bat an eye, Sasuke admitted. Is this how I'll feel like when I kill Itachi? No, he deserves to die even more than Toji did. That's just because my priorities are a bit different from yours, Kurama smiled. Nothing more, nothing less. Team 7 were ready to depart from the village the next day. Shinji and his mother Yui stood at the village entrance to see them off. I want to thank you for what you've done. Yui smiled at them, giving Sasuke a larger smile than she did the others. You gave us an opportunity to rebuild and move on. Now my husband will be able to rest in peace. We were glad we could help you out, Kakashi said. Sasuke. Shinji had a wide smile on his face, having bonded with Sasuke during the night. Come back and visit sometime. That goes for all of you, Yui added. Sasuke smiled. It was small, but genuine. He liked how he was able to keep a monster from hurting the innocent, and seeing Shinji and Yui in high spirits was like being in the eye of the hurricane. A brief moment of peace in a life of turbulence. Maybe we will. Team 7 left the village and returned home. Their first C-rank mission was complete. I'm worried about you, Naruto. The Hokage said, having scheduled a meeting with Kurama after Kakashi handed in his post-mission report, intending to get Kurama's side of the story. Kakashi had expressed concern over Kurama's apparent sadism and lack of remorse over a first-time kill. That's just what Kakashi-sensei said when he spoke to me about killing those thugs, Kurama replied with a shrug. It was necessary and I don't regret it. The Hokage rested his chin on his hands. That's the problem. It's normal for someone to be at least slightly traumatized after their first kill, but you are unfazed. I made my peace with it just after I killed them. I have better things to do than mourn for the dead, Lord Hokage. The Hokage processed everything he heard so far and sighed. You're changing, Naruto, and not for the better. In fact, this demeanor of yours fits a seasoned killer rather than an inexperienced genin. It seems that you've let the nine-tailed fox influence your emotions a lot more than you've let on. Let me show you something, Lord Hokage. Kurama released his chakra cloak, suppressing as much killing intent as he could, making the cloak shift from an orange-red to a pure orange color. Kurama pushed more chakra out, which caused the cloak to expand and form two tails. This is my current progress with the nine-tailed fox's power. I can use up to 2 tails worth of the nine-tails chakra now. He grinned. An improvement if I do say so myself. The Hokage stared at Kurama's soft red eyes. Then why am I not feeling any of the nine tails' murderous chakra? Want me to show you why? Kurama asked. The Hokage nodded and Kurama released his killing intent, which caused the chakra cloak to turn from a warm orange to a fiery red. His eyes gained dark slits and his features became more feral. Yes, I see. Kurama let his inner chakra cloak dissipate. As you can see, Lord Hokage, I am in control. The nine tails and I have an agreement of sorts. I take its power, and it doesn't influence me. So don't think that I'm being possessed. The Hokage put his hands on his desk and reached for his pipe. I'm surprised, Naruto. Ever since the nine-tailed fox attacked on the day of your birth, I always associated it with being a creature of wrath and oppression. I never thought that its chakra could be the antithesis of that. Kurama frowned. While he enjoyed killing, he wasn't always a harbinger of death and destruction. Maybe it was because I learned to hate humanity, and killing the worst of them was satisfying. Maybe it was something else. I can't remember. There are a lot of things that you don't know about the nine-tailed fox, old man. The Hokage took a deep puff from his pipe, savoring the motion. Just a word of advice before I let you go. Not everyone will be as tolerant of you using the nine-tailed fox's chakra, and not everyone will understand why you are the way you are. Kurama smiled. Of course. I'll keep that in mind. The next day, Kakashi stood in front of his team in the third training ground, holding 4 pieces of paper in his hand. Alright, team, we're going to start on chakra control, but first, can you tell me what I have in my hand? Sakura was about to raise her hand, but remembered that she wasn't in the academy. Those papers are designed to determine the user's elemental chakra affinity, or in other words, which element the user of the chakra paper can use the best. Kakashi nodded. Correct, Sakura. Here's how it works. You grab the paper, push chakra into it, and it'll start doing its thing. If you have a fire affinity, the paper will ignite and turn into ash. If you're water, the paper will become wet. If you're earth, the paper will crumble into dust. If you're wind, the paper will split into 2, and if you're lightning, the paper will wrinkle. Kakashi handed the remaining chakra papers to his team. Alright, Sakura, you go first. Sakura pushed chakra into the paper, and it crumbled into dust. Interesting. It looks like your affinity is for the earth chakra nature. Sakura beamed at the revelation. Sasuke was the next one to take the affinity test. While he was sure he would get fire, he felt that he had more potential than that. The paper burst into black flames. Kakashi blinked, momentarily shocked. You have an affinity for the fire chakra nature. Although those black flames imply that you might have another Kekkei Genkai. 2 Kekkei Genkai? Sakura asked in surprise. It's incredibly rare to have 2 bloodline limits naturally, but Sasuke must have been born lucky, Kakashi explained. Kurama shook his head. My turn. He pushed his chakra into the paper. It ignited and turned to ash. A fire affinity? Kakashi rubbed the back of his head, and handed Kurama another chakra paper. Try again. Kurama shrugged and did the chakra nature litmus test again. This time, the paper split down the middle. Now you have a wind chakra nature? Kakashi shook his head. He wasn't sure how Kurama developed a fire affinity, since his parents didn't possess the affinity. You have 2 affinities then. If I had to guess, the fire affinity comes from my inner chakra and the wind affinity comes from the vessel's chakra. Kurama thought. But why my inner chakra would take a fire affinity is beyond me. So what does this mean anyway? Sasuke asked, a grin plastered on his face. 2 Kekkei Genkai. This is amazing. Chakra affinities determine what element you're naturally inclined to. That means that it'll be easier to learn an elemental technique of your own affinity, or affinities. You can still learn an earth-style technique if you don't have the affinity, but it's more difficult to do so. You also have to master your chakra affinity before learning elemental techniques. But before we do that, I have to assess your current level of chakra control, and for that Team 7 could swear that Kakashi was grinning like a clown under that mask. We have to climb trees, so that's why we're here. Looks like Kakashi-sensei has gone insane without being late for 2 weeks, Kurama observed, grinning toothily. Without your hands, Kakashi intoned. He gave a demonstration by heading over to a nearby tree and slowly began walking up the tree, stepping onto the tree's lowest branch. Don't underestimate this technique, Naruto, since it's the basis for more advanced techniques like water walking or the body flicker. Kurama laughed. Oh come on, Kakashi-sensei. It can't be that hard. Then you won't mind if you show us how it's done, right? Kakashi requested. Kurama went to a tree close to him and started running up the trunk, but slipped off, landing on his back. Sakura giggled and Sasuke tried to repress a smirk, but failed. The amount of chakra you used wasn't enough, Naruto. Push more chakra into your feet, Kakashi said in a tone that failed to hide his amusement at Kurama's mishap. Sasuke made an attempt on another tree, but before he could get far up the tree, he was blasted off, his footprint leaving a mark on the tree. You use too much chakra, Sasuke. Sakura, why don't you try? Sakura nodded and started walking up a tree of her own. Regulating the amount of chakra she released with each step, she managed to reach the top of the tree on her first try. She grinned and raised a fist to the air. Yeah. I did it. Very impressive, Sakura. You've managed to surpass your teammates in chakra control. Come with me and I'll teach you water walking. Kakashi front flipped off of the branch he was perched on. As for you two, take kunai and mark your progress while you go up your tree. As Kakashi and Sakura left, Kurama thought he heard Kakashi mumbling about being late tomorrow, but shrugged. He won't be late again. We know all of his stomping grounds. He searched for the highest trees in the forest, and once he found them, he had a shadow clone guide Sasuke to his current location. Ready, Sasuke? Sasuke nodded. First one up to the top of their tree has to buy the other person's lunch. Kurama pulled out a kunai, twirling it. You must really be confident in your skills if you're willing to risk buying my lunch. Sasuke smirked. I have to be. Kurama and Sasuke stood on top of their respective trees, where they could see the entirety of the third training ground. Sakura was lying on the rocky shore next to the river while Kakashi was looking at the memorial stone. See Sasuke? Kurama said, pointing at Kakashi. Sensei always goes there before coming to us. That's why he's late. You were right, Naruto, Sasuke conceded. How did you find out? I went to the memorial stone one day before training and I found Kakashi-sensei. Flashback. Sensei. Why are you here? Kurama asked. Kakashi turned around. I was just paying my respects. That's nice and all, but wouldn't it be better for you to do that after practice? Kurama reasoned. You're probably right, Naruto, Kakashi replied sullenly. Do you do this every day? Kurama asked. Kakashi nodded. Why? It's just an old habit that I never managed to break, Kakashi explained. You know I never let myself get burdened by the past, Kurama revealed. Before I joined Team 7, I had nothing to look forward to. I hated everyone who hated me and all I wanted to do was make them suffer, make them feel my pain, but now, I have friends and a goal. Slowly, but surely, I forgot what my life was like. Why tell me all of this, Naruto? Kakashi asked. There are people who need you, Kakashi-sensei. Don't let them down by clinging to a time long gone. Embrace the present and enjoy it with all your might. Kakashi smiled from under his mask. It's time to get to work, Naruto. So let's go and rejoin our team. End flashback. It looks like what you did helped us out in the end, Sasuke said. But what about the bet? Kurama chuckled. Since, somehow, we got to the top of our trees at the same time, either of us won the bet. Sasuke scoffed. Let's get down. I'm actually starting to feel a burning sensation. Sasuke rolled his eyes. That's what we normal people called chakra exhaustion. Is that what it was? Well, there's a first time for everything. Kurama smiled. Let's go get Sakura and eat at Ichiraku Ramen. Shouldn't we tell Kakashi-sensei that we'll be ditching him? Kurama shook his head. Since we've done what we were assigned to do, he won't worry about us if we're done, but I'll send a clone to go tell him, just in case. Sasuke put his hands in his pockets. Fine by me, I just wanted to make sure that Kakashi-sensei knew where we were, so he wouldn't be annoying or something. Team 7 went to Yakinikakyu, following Sakura's decision to go there. Kakashi had declined their invitation, saying that he had plans of his own that he couldn't back out of. Remind me, why are we here and not at Ichiraku Ramen? Kurama asked after they entered the restaurant. Since I finished the tree climbing exercise first, I got to decide where to go, Sakura replied, a triumphant smile on her face. Whatever, Sasuke cut in, stopping Kurama before he could argue with Sakura over something irrelevant. Fine, let's just celebrate Sakura being number one for once, Kurama said with a smile. After ordering their food, Team 7 started speaking about what they did for training when they were alone. Kurama mentioned how he could get Hinata to help them with taijutsu. While Sasuke was unsure, Sakura said that it could be a good thing. However, what are you doing here, billboard brow? Sakura's smile evaporated when she heard the all-too-familiar voice. Sasuke put a palm on his forehead and Kurama stared elsewhere. We were celebrating, Sakura whispered. Celebrating what? Ino Yamanaka, who had arrived with her team and sensei, asked. That you finally got to bring Sasuke on a date? Oh, and speaking of which, Sasuke, once you get bored of old billboard over here, you should come and join me. Why would I? Sasuke asked in genuine confusion. Because Sakura's only good for that brain that she keeps under that giant forehead of hers. Ino noticed Kurama, placing her hand on her hip. And she's not even good enough to get a private date, since I bet the only reason Sasuke's here is because of Naruto. Ino, Kurama said, speaking for the first time since Ino entered the restaurant. Why are you here? Ino's gaze narrowed, then she huffed, blowing a stray hair away from her forehead. This is our regular eating space, Uzumaki. I should ask you the same question, what are you doing here? Sakura invited us and we're celebrating her victory. She has the best chakra control on our team, Kurama said in a matter-of-fact tone. Sakura felt her cheeks heat up after hearing the praise. Like that means anything. Ino snapped her fingers. A true kunoichi knows more than just chakra control, stupid girl. If you're just going to belittle Sakura, you might as well leave. Go and join Lazy Boy, Choji and Old Man Hokage's son and leave us alone. Who are you to tell me what to do? Ino asked haughtily. I'm Sakura's teammate. I wouldn't want to force you to leave, Kurama said heatedly. Don't forget, Naruto, that I was, overall, the best academy student, while you were the worst. I doubt you improved enough to beat me, even if you are on the same team as Sasuke. After all, our team just finished an A-rank mission. Interesting. Did you kill anyone? Kurama asked playfully. Ino sputtered. What? Kill? No, I didn't. Sakura did. We all did on our first C-rank mission. Want to know how it feels like to kill someone? Kurama asked, a wily smile on his face. Liar! Maybe Sasuke did kill someone, but you? Billboard brow? No way. You're both too weak to kill anyone. Ino shot back. There's a lot you don't know about me or Sakura, Ino. In fact, let me show you something I picked up. Kurama's eyes turned red, intending to hit Ino with the full force of his killing intent, but he stopped when Sakura clasped his wrist. Naruto, please don't. As for you, Ino, I won't have you insulting me or my teammate when he took the time to celebrate with me. So, please, for the sake of our old friendship, leave. Fine, if that's what you want, I will. See you around, Sasuke. Ino winked at the Uchiha heir, then spun on her foot and walked off. Not bad, Sakura, not bad. You're finally starting to blossom. When she was sure no one could see her, she let a small, but sad smile come across her features. It's just a shame that you didn't need me to help you, huh? When Ino was out of earshot, Sasuke turned to Sakura. You're not fighting over me, so why haven't you buried the hatchet with her, Sakura? Sakura blinked in surprise. You noticed? Sasuke nodded. I don't like being the reason for other people's suffering. Ino must be important to you, huh, Sakura? Kurama asked softly. Yeah, but you've seen how she acted around me, Sakura said sadly. It was probably just an act, Kurama mused. Huh? Sakura gawked. Yeah. She was trying to get you to respond negatively, or argue with her. Sasuke does have a point though, since you aren't fighting over him, maybe you should bury the hatchet with Ino. It was Sakura's turn to ask the questions. If you knew what she was doing, Naruto, then why did you want to scare her? Kurama scowled. She was annoying. Naruto, you'll have to tell us how you're capable of scaring people like that, or making that red chakra, or knowing how people feel, and sometime soon, Sakura said warningly. The food that Team 7 ordered arrived. This is definitely going to be an interesting way to eat. Kurama noticed, grateful that the waiter had distracted Sakura. Sasuke, who was busy preparing his meal, overheard different conversations around the restaurant, but he focused on one conversation in particular. The conversation, which originated from Ino's table, piqued his interest after hearing the name Gato and something about a mission to the Land of Waves, as well as something about the Kubikura Bocho. What happened to that man? As long as scum like him exists, people like Yui or Shinji will never be safe. After eating and finishing their well-made food, Team 7 left Yakiniku. That hit the spot, Sasuke said brightly. I agree. This place is nearly as good as Ichiraku ramen, Kurama added. I'm not about to argue about favorite restaurants with you, Naruto, Sakura piped up. Kurama waved his hand dismissively. Want to spar? I need to work off all the food I ate, and sparring is the best way to do it. Sounds like a plan, Naruto, Sakura replied. Sasuke voiced his agreement as well, and together, they started walking to the third training ground. Why don't you bring Hinata along? You did say that you've practiced with her before, right? Sakura asked. A couple of times, but she was always busy with clan duties or something like that. I'll go and see if she's available. A shadow clone of Kurama was formed and ran off to find Hinata. Kurama paused after that, an idea coming to him. All three of us could be clan heads one day, don't you think? Where did that idea come from? Sakura asked. Both me and Sasuke are the last members of our clans in this village, and you're essentially a clan heir, Sakura. So therefore, we can all be clan heads once we become 18 or whatever the age is for being clan head, Sakura beamed. I've never thought of it like that, Naruto. Can you imagine it? Me, Sakura, the head of the Haruno clan. Has a nice ring to it, Kurama chuckled. Even Sasuke let out a smile. You know, Naruto, you're different from the Naruto in the academy, in more ways than one. That Naruto would have been pestering me for dates, not thinking like this, Kurama smiled. I'll admit, I could have gotten the message that you didn't want to date me before, but that's in the past. Now that we're friends and teammates, I don't need to date you, since we spend most of our time together anyway. Sakura smiled at Kurama's reasoning. I'm glad that I took the opportunity to look at things from a different perspective. Even if Naruto was annoying, he was lonely and stubborn, a bad combination. Now I'm much stronger and I have 2 new friends. You've changed as well, Sakura, Sasuke said, a faint smile tugging at his lips. You're no longer that insensitive girl from the academy. You're better. You've earned your place on the Hidden Leaf's best genin team. Sakura blushed profusely. I may still have a crush on Sasuke, but he sees me as me, not as one of his admirers. In due time, it'll be the world's best team, Sasuke, Kurama told Sasuke. Between my abilities, Sakura's mind and your Kekkei Genkai, as well as Kakashi-sensei's experience and skills, if we work hard at it, there is nothing that can stop us from achieving our goals. You're right, Naruto. Sakura gave Kurama and Sasuke wide, genuine smiles. And thanks to both of you for believing in me. Kurama returned Sakura's smile with one of his own. No, thank you, Sakura, Sasuke said in a rare show of courtesy. If it wasn't for you growing up, then we wouldn't be such a good team. Hinata will be waiting for us at the third training ground, so let's go, Kurama said suddenly. Kurama was overseeing Sakura and Hinata's spar, and was troubled by what he was seeing. There was something off about Hinata. She was moving with far more speed and attacking with more ferocity than she usually would. When she fought against Sasuke, she was tentative, but ultimately fought him. When she fought him, she would be afraid to even strike him. Why? Is it her feelings for me? Is it because we're not alone? What's the reason? All right, Sakura, Hinata. That's enough. Kurama stopped them just before Hinata could place an outstretched, chakra-laced palm on Sakura's chest. Naruto. I almost had her, Sakura complained. She would have given Hinata a heavy roundhouse kick, but when she stopped, she lost her momentum and stumbled. She would have hit you and probably caused injury. Kurama turned to Hinata. Hinata. Can I ask you something? Hinata took in a deep breath, deactivating the Byakugan when she exhaled. Yes, Naruto? Are you afraid of me? No. I'm not afraid of you, Hinata replied fiercely. Kurama ran a hand through his hair. Then why don't you attack me with full force? I'm wasting my time with you if you can't do that. I don't want to hurt you, Naruto, Hinata said sadly. Sasuke snorted. Hurt Naruto? That's a new one. Hinata shrunk a bit, but Kurama continued, Sasuke's right. You won't hurt me if you fight all out. In fact, I even wanted to test out something involving your abilities, but I can't do that if you're not willing to attack me, can I? Hinata was taken aback, and she held her hands together. I'm sorry, Naruto. If I knew, I wouldn't have held back. I want to help you and I'm grateful that you're willing to give me a chance. But I'm not that good at the gentle fist. You'd be better to ask my younger sister Hanabi, or my cousin Niji. They're better than I am. Maybe I should, Kurama growled. Naruto! Sakura yelled. How could you be so insensitive? Sakura, if you weren't willing to go all out against Sasuke, you would be wasting your time, right? Yes, but what does Sakura's eyes lit up? Oh, I see. I'm not willing to waste my time with someone who thinks so lowly of themselves. Hinata, I don't want to spar against your sister or your cousin. Kurama smiled. I want you. Hinata flushed. Naruto, then I'll make sure that I start practicing with everything I have. Hook, line and sinker. Kurama smiled. He knew Hinata was good, but she had severe confidence issues that kept her from realizing her potential. That's the spirit. Sakura, why don't you take a break? I'll take on Hinata. Sakura took the hint and sat next to Sasuke. Kurama entered his fighting stance and faced his opponent. Hinata took the stance of the gentle fist and jumped at Kurama, fighting with a fire that burned deep within her. A fire that burned far brighter than ever before. 3 days had passed since Team 7 began their chakra control exercises. After they learned how to walk on trees consistently and effectively, Kakashi had them perform the next chakra control exercise, walking on water. Kakashi was impressed that it didn't take them so long to master both exercises. He was especially impressed with Sakura, who finished the exercise soon after he introduced it to Naruto and Sasuke. While he was aware that Sakura had extra time to practice, he was still impressed by her excellent chakra control. Satisfied that his team was progressing according to and beyond his standards, Kakashi decided to put them on a Genjutsu crash course. The Genjutsu Kakashi planned to use was a simple one. It would use their memories as a base to create a scene that would force them to figure out the deception and see through it. Let's see how they do. Forming the necessary hand seals, Kakashi prepared the Genjutsu. Kurama was waiting casually with his team before Kakashi would arrive. He was late again, but there had to be a reason behind it, since the clone he had stalking the memorial stone didn't dispel. So he can't have been there. So when Kakashi arrived, Sasuke shouted, "You're late." "Sorry, I'm late, Sasuke. I got lost on the road of life and had to go and find myself. Anyway, now that we're all here, we can start with teamwork exercises. What's going on? Aren't we going to do more chakra control exercises, Kakashi-sensei?" Kurama asked. "What are you talking about, Naruto? We're only going to start on tree walking once we get you working as a cohesive unit. A team is only as strong as its weakest link. We're already a good team. Sakura, what do you think of this?" Sakura's cheeks tinted red, much to his surprise. "Oh, I don't know, Naruto. You come up with something and I'll follow you, because you're so awesome. What about me, Naruto? Don't you want to hear what I have to say?" Sasuke asked, waving his hands in the air excitedly. "Sasuke, you idiot! Naruto's too cool to talk to you." Sakura hit Sasuke on the back of his head. "This isn't right." Kurama released his demonic chakra, flushing out the external chakra inside his body. The image in front of him began to rupture and dissolve, leading him to see an unusual sight. Black tomos spun madly within Sasuke's red eyes. The Sharingan. He's finally unlocked it. Kurama grinned demonically, forcing more of his chakra to flood his chakra network so that he could completely dispel the illusion. He found himself standing in the same location he was before being struck with the Genjutsu, with Sakura looking normal and Sasuke's bloodline limit still on. Once again, the way they were acting was off as well. Fear. Anxiety. Is that what they feel when they see me like this? Kurama frowned and stopped the flow of his demonic chakra. "Naruto," Sakura said shakily, trying to stop herself from trembling. "What is that chakra?" It was at that moment that Kakashi decided to arrive, appearing on top of one of the torii. "Good morning, my cute little genin. How did you like my Genjutsu?" "It was easy to dispel, sensei," Sasuke spoke up, an unusual grin on his face which did nothing to hide the fact that he was trembling as well. "Thanks to my Sharingan. I've unlocked it. I've finally unlocked it. I'm one step closer to killing that man." That was the point. A true Genjutsu master is capable of layering multiple illusions on top of each other, or making the illusions virtually impossible to break. I wanted to see if you could identify and dispel the illusion. I see that you each had a different way of doing that. Sakura? Sakura shook her head a bit and blinked before turning to face. Naruto was asking me on a date and being an all-around nuisance. Since that would never happen nowadays, I figured out it was genjutsu. It was easy cause my chakra control is, in my humble opinion, pretty good. Kakashi nodded in a way that implied everything went according to plan. Sasuke, I saw my brother telling me that he loves me and saying that he did everything for my protection. Since that was obviously a lie, my anger at seeing him caused the Sharingan to awaken, dispelling the illusion automatically. Then his gaze sharpened, creating a menacing effect due to the still activated Sharingan. Never put me in an illusion like that again. It wasn't supposed to do something like that, but I'll use a different genjutsu next time, at any rate. Kakashi thought. Naruto? What happened? I saw something disturbing and, realizing that it would never happen, I forced my chakra to flush out yours, Kurama reported. Using that evil chakra, right? Sakura commented. Kurama nodded. Where did it come from, Naruto? Sasuke asked after deactivating his Sharingan. And don't tell us, I'll tell you tomorrow. Might as well, both of them are suspicious as it is. Simple. The nine-tailed fox is sealed inside of me, making me a Jinchuriki, Kurama replied, raising a palm upwards. Both Sakura and Sasuke flinched. Kurama was hoping they would understand, but if they didn't and saw him as something worse than what he actually was. Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi said, appearing suddenly behind them. This is an S-rank secret. Under no circumstances are you allowed to repeat this to anyone who doesn't already know, understand? Both Sakura and Sasuke nodded quickly. Kurama scowled. Kakashi kept him from figuring out what his teammates thought about his little secret. Before he could complain, Kakashi smiled and said, good. We've still got a long day of training ahead of us, so let's get started. Team 7 were standing on the river of the third training ground as Kakashi stood in front of them, hands tucked in his pockets. Genjutsu is a subtle art, Kakashi lectured. It requires good chakra control and imagination, as well as a fair degree of intelligence. By manipulating the target's senses using chakra, you are capable of distracting them to set up ideally a fatal blow. So genjutsu is better for support-type ninja, right? Sakura asked. Yes, but it's possible for someone to use genjutsu as their primary form of attack. In fact, there is someone in the village who does exactly that. Kakashi paused. But I wouldn't recommend it. I can teach you how to use genjutsu in a way that will help you when you fight. And how will you do that? Sasuke asked, crossing his arms. I'll teach you genjutsu that are very effective in creating distractions, inflicting either vertigo, paralysis or nausea, inducing hypnotic suggestions, traumatizing your opponents by showing them false images and knocking targets out with a dose of concentrated pain. Genjutsu is actually quite versatile, but its subtlety makes it an obscure art. Is killing intent genjutsu? Sakura inquired, looking towards Kurama, who gave her a smile. No, Kakashi cut in before she could respond to Kurama's action. While it induces feelings of trauma and fear, it doesn't require chakra for you to use it. So the nine-tailed fox's killing intent is so potent that it causes chakra to appear. Sakura thought. She shuddered. Getting Naruto angry won't be a good thing, not at all, Sakura. She looked up at Kakashi. With your high level of chakra control, I believe that you have the most potential in genjutsu on our team. Really? I do. Even if Sasuke has the Sharingan. Sasuke uncrossed his arms, raising an eyebrow when he heard his name. Using the Sharingan to its fullest extent requires eye contact, and the best of the best have counters to the Sharingan. Sasuke scowled, clenching his fists tightly after hearing Kakashi dismiss the Sharingan's potency. What would he know about the Sharingan? Father always said that the Sharingan was what put the Uchiha on top and that only an Uchiha could use it. But Kakashi-sensei acts like he has the Sharingan. Do you know any counters to the Sharingan, sensei? Kurama asked. Don't make eye contact at all, Kakashi replied seriously. Moving on, I'll teach you a non-lethal genjutsu that you can use to practice on your teammates. The optic delusory jutsu, better known by its affectionate name, false surroundings. While Sakura was pleased to find out that she actually had an aptitude for using genjutsu after learning the false surroundings technique, she took a break to think, sitting down and bring her knees to her chest. She was worried about her teammate. Whenever Naruto would use the nine-tailed fox's chakra, she felt evil emanating from it in full force. Not to mention how irregular the chakra was. Most people's chakra glowed in a blue aura if it became visible, but the nine-tailed fox's chakra was red, not to mention the fact that Naruto used it so frequently now that his secret was out. In fact, it looked like he was overjoyed about being able to use it around his team, like he had removed the mask and his true colors were starting to show. Sakura? Naruto called out. You alright? Sakura jumped up in surprise. Yeah, just thinking about that chakra of yours, I mean the nine-tailed fox's chakra, sorry. Sakura said nervously, trying to recover from her slip of tongue. It's pretty uncomfortable, actually. Well, let me show you something, Sakura. The nine-tailed fox's chakra appeared around Naruto, but instead of it being red like before, it was orange instead. A single tail formed and wrapped itself around Sakura's waist. Feeling the tail and the warmth it exuded, Sakura voiced her feelings about the chakra. Wow, it's so warm. Like Sakura took a moment to think of the right words. Like a warm summer day. Really? I'm glad you think so. If I suppress my killing intent, the nine-tailed fox's chakra turns orange, and if I don't, it's red. Sort of like a convenient color code. Naruto paused, his tone lowering. What do you think of it? Sakura didn't know. It did explain why Naruto was hated so much by everyone in the village. I just need to get used to knowing that you're a Jinchuriki, okay? Naruto's smile faded. Well, I need to get back to practice dispelling genjutsu without my special ability, if you know what I mean. Don't let me keep you, Naruto. Sakura fastened her ponytail. Practice makes perfect, after all. Naruto ran back to Sasuke and Kakashi-sensei. Sakura could only think of how she might have alienated her teammate just because she couldn't understand what he was going through. He didn't deserve that, after everything that happened to him. She felt a pit form deep in her stomach from regret that she was so horrible to Naruto. He was just starved for attention, and even if he was annoying to an unnecessary degree, it was partially justified by his upbringing. A part of her tried to justify her actions, arguing that she didn't know any better. Of course, that was the problem. Sakura stood up and continued to practice, banishing thoughts of her teammate, her friend, away for the time being. Sasuke wasn't feeling as great as he could have felt. While he was ecstatic to have finally awakened the Sharingan, he was stunned when Naruto told him that he was a Jinchuriki. It actually explained a lot of things, including how Naruto was able to progress so rapidly. Since he had access to the nine-tailed fox's chakra, he could pull off amazing feats, including that chakra transfer technique. If he didn't know that, he might have been jealous of Naruto's progress from dead last to competent shinobi in only a few weeks. There was also the horrifying feeling he got whenever Naruto unleashed that chakra. But since he insisted that he was in full control, Sasuke dropped the issue. Naruto had apparently been worried about Sakura, and after going to speak to her, he returned. He immediately continued the exercise that Kakashi-sensei gave them. While their ability to dispel genjutsu without external assistance had been increasing and the exercise itself was going well, he was itching to evolve the Sharingan to its mature stage. He only had one Tomo in one eye and two Tomo in the other so that he could master its power. You know, Sasuke, your Sharingan can be used to cause hypnosis and create illusions, Kakashi-sensei said. Foolish little brother, I know, Sasuke replied bitterly. You two seem to have gotten the gist of dispelling genjutsu. And you both learned the false surroundings technique, so we'll wrap up training for today. Go and get Sakura so we can do a mission. Naruto did so, and Sasuke watched as the blonde tried to spark a conversation with Sakura. But it didn't work out that well, as Sakura only gave him short replies. Maybe she doesn't know what to think about him like me. After they reunited, they departed to the mission assignment desk. The thoughts of their first D-rank mission returned to Sasuke. Maybe that's why Lord Hokage is so nice to Naruto, because of the nine-tailed fox sealed within him. Why would anyone want to antagonize someone like that? And Naruto at least had someone who cared about him, right? Even so, he still didn't know what to think about Naruto. How he could go through so much without harboring any form of hatred or resentment was beyond him. He acted like a hyperactive loudmouth most of the time back at the academy, and no one suspected anything, as far as he knew. He could remember his mother looking at Naruto with an odd look. Pity? Sympathy? It definitely wasn't fear. Why that was irrelevant, since she didn't do anything for him. He couldn't blame her. Naruto convinced everyone that there was nothing wrong with him. He couldn't help but feel bad that each and every time Naruto approached him, it wasn't him trying to be annoying. Not entirely, that is. He just wanted a friend to help ease his loneliness. Sasuke sighed and ran a hand through his spiky black hair. At least Naruto had a team to look out for him. Team 7's D-rank mission for the day was to deliver messages throughout the village. It would have been a trivial exercise for them, thanks to Kurama's shadow clones, but Kakashi prevented him from using his signature technique. Why can't I, sensei? Kurama asked. Let's have Sasuke and Sakura deliver at least one message, so that it can be a team effort. Okay, Kurama shrugged. Might as well. Good. Kakashi took out 6 message scrolls, handing 3 to Sakura and 3 to Sasuke. Sasuke, Sakura, I want you to transform into Naruto. Why, sensei? Sakura asked. If you want to understand, even a little bit, how Naruto feels, then transform and act as him. Both Sasuke and Sakura went through the hand seals of the transformation technique. With scrolls in hand, their mission began in earnest. With Sakura was proud of her transformation. With the exception of Naruto's private parts, she managed to transform into a picture-perfect image of her teammate, and she could sustain the technique until she ran out of chakra, fell unconscious or stopped the technique. With that in mind, Sakura set out to finish the mission as effectively as she could. The first place that Sakura went to was a grocery store. The stares she was getting from the villagers were eating away at her confidence, and she felt like crawling into a corner. How does Naruto cope with it? She smiled like Naruto did when they were in the academy, and tried to ignore the oppression. When she entered the store, she went to the counter and got the attention of the cashier. Message delivery, she replied cheerfully. The grocer was about to respond in kind, but his blood went cold when he saw her. What do you want? Just here to deliver a message, Sakura replied casually, pulling out the appropriate scroll. The grocer grabbed the message and looked around frantically. You're not going to do anything to me, right? No, why would I? Sakura asked. If you're not, then get out. The grocer shouted suddenly, catching Sakura off guard. Where did that come from? Sakura thought. Why? I'm a ninja, and if I want to buy something from you, then you should give me the opportunity to do so. But you're not here to buy anything, now are you, you freak? The grocer said insultingly. And if you're not here to buy anything, then get the hell out of here. Fine. Sakura shouted back. Stupid old man. I bet he treated Naruto the same way. Her mood fouled by her encounter with the grocer, Sakura stormed out of the store and walked to her next location, the library. Naruto's never been in the library, so nobody will treat him badly there, right? While she would have been convinced before, now she wasn't sure. She ignored the stares, but noticed that if she tried to look at someone, they would either turn away from her, ignore her, walk away or rarely, glare at her. Sakura had been bullied before because she had a large forehead, and while it hurt, she was left alone by people who didn't know her. That, of course, didn't apply to Naruto. She felt sick to her stomach even walking around, and she hated it so much. She entered the Leaf Village's library, a place she was familiar with, having read a lot of books before and after becoming friends with Ino. It helped her to forget from the world that she thought was horribly unfair. Pulling out the scroll, she went to the checkout desk in order to hand it to the librarian, a young woman named Mikuru if Sakura remembered correctly. Message delivery! Sakura exclaimed, although she noticed that she had to force herself to sound chipper. I'll be there in a second. Mikuru called out. Eventually, she returned and Sakura watched the color seep out of her face. You're here just to give the message, right? Sakura nodded tersely. Yes. Mikuru grabbed the scroll and nodded. Please don't prank the library again. I know that some of the other librarians didn't like you, but you ruined a lot of our books. Sakura frowned. Fine, I won't. Just make sure that those other librarians know that they had what was coming to them. Mikuru ran off and Sakura sighed. She's not normally like this. Normally, I'd wonder why Naruto was such a pest, but now, maybe he had a reason for doing all of those pranks. These people hate him, or they're afraid and Naruto just wants them to see him. Sakura put her hands on her sides and walked out of the library. Her last destination was Ichiraku Ramen, interestingly enough. Once she got there after enduring more of the village's ostracizing behavior, she was treated to a warm smile from the woman working in the stand. I am Naruto. I'm so glad to see you, Ayam said cheerfully. Sakura smiled in return, inspired by Ayam's warm greeting. I'm glad to see you too. Are you here for some ramen? Ayam asked. Sakura shook her head. Sorry. I'm just here to deliver a message. She handed the scroll to Ayam. Once Ayam set the scroll on the counter, she smiled at her. Come back soon, alright Naruto? You're always welcome at Ichiraku Ramen. Sakura felt like crying in relief. Someone finally acknowledged Naruto. I will. Once she left the ramen stand, she dispelled her transformation. Naruto had it really rough, but he managed to endure it. Could I have done what Naruto did if I was in his situation? I'd probably just give up on trying to make these people give up on hating me. She thought. It only intensified the sympathy she felt for Naruto, and she vowed to do anything she could to make Naruto realize he was acknowledged and appreciated. How was it, Sasuke? Sakura asked after returning to her other teammate. Sasuke frowned, remembering what happened after he left to start his mission. With Sasuke smirked after pulling off a decent transformation. It would be enough to suffice, since he got the fundamentals down, the blonde hair, the whiskers and the abundance of orange. Schooling his features, Sasuke set out to his first destination, a veterinarian's clinic. While he was walking there, he observed other people's reactions to his appearance and frowned. If they didn't ignore him outright, they glared at him and tried to make him feel like dirt. He found it to be annoying, but he was able to ignore the villagers, eventually making it to his destination. When Sasuke entered the clinic, he was met by 3 large, brown, identical dogs that growled at him. He made it to the receptionist's desk undeterred, and saw a young woman with brown hair tied into a ponytail, red fawn markings on her face and large brown eyes. She was wearing a beige long-sleeved shirt with a high collar, the same shirt that Medical Ninja wore, and black shorts. Are you here to give me my message? The Inuzuka asked. Sasuke nodded. Pulling out a scroll, he handed it to the woman Hana, after looking at the sign bearing her name. If you're a kunoichi, then why would you bother assigning a D-rank mission to get a message? Why would you bother impersonating Naruto Uzumaki? Hana countered. She pointed at her nose in order to alleviate Sasuke's bewilderment. Naruto has a distinctive smell, one that you don't have. And I can assure you that the nose doesn't lie, kid. She let out a small smirk. To answer your question, sometimes I feel like giving Genin a chance to help the village out. Show them the ropes and all that. Just wanted to see what life was like as Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke answered, before turning away and walking out of the clinic, ignoring Hana's nean dogs. He acknowledged Hana's point, but he quickly realized that the village didn't exist in harmony. He knew it didn't before, if it could let Itachi get away with murder, and if they could treat a mostly innocent boy so badly. His mood was turning even more sour, and he blocked out all of the negativity surrounding him. He eventually arrived at his next location, Yamanaka Flowers. He was hoping not to deal with Ino, especially with how she treated Sakura back at Yakiniku. For a moment he wondered why he cared about that, but then he realized that Sakura was his friend and she didn't deserve to be treated like that by anyone. Welcome to Yamanaka Flowers, how may I? The brown-haired, red-eyed woman who resembled Ino stopped speaking. Can I help you? She asked in a clipped tone. Sasuke didn't fail to notice her dark stare. You've got a message. The woman he assumed to be Ino's mother nodded. Please hand it to me. Once Sasuke did, she nodded politely. Thank you for your service. You may go now. Sasuke knew that Mrs. Yamanaka wasn't being polite out of respect, but only to keep up appearances. Sasuke left the flower store immediately. Whatever patience he had was quickly running out. And while he didn't care much about being acknowledged, it still stung to be treated like nothing. Eventually, Sasuke made it to his final destination, a weapons store. He entered and saw a small iron fan, and his heart clenched. Mother always loved those fans. She was even a master of a taijutsu style centered around them. One day, I'll restore that style, the gliding edge style. Hey kid, what the hell are you doing around those fans? The employee asked. Those are delicate instruments, and scum like you would probably break them. Yes, those fans were used by Uchiha Kunoichi, people far more graceful. Shut your mouth, Sasuke growled. Not only was he broken out of a pleasant train of thought, his mood had darkened to the point where even one bad comment would set him off, and this employee dared to mention the Uchiha in front of him. He didn't know how Naruto was able to keep himself from just lashing out at everyone. Maybe those pranks were his way of coping, and while they made people notice him, it only was fuel to the flames of their hatred. Are you here for a message or something? The employee nodded quickly, his scowl not disappearing like he would have wanted. Sasuke pulled out his last scroll and threw it at the employee. Now get out, the employee growled. If you're not going to buy anything, then I don't want to even smell you. Understand, boy? Sasuke replied. I wouldn't want to be in such a terrible place anyways. Loser. With that, Sasuke stormed out of the store and walked back towards his team. Naruto was definitely a unique person, Sasuke realized. He was able to ignore these idiots' hatred of him. All the stares, the apathy, all of the negativity. And other than being absolutely brutal and bloodthirsty when fighting an enemy, he was a fairly normal, decent person. And he was his friend too. Naruto! Sakura exclaimed after returning to her remaining teammates, who had just finished playing rock paper scissors. I never realized how bad you had it, and I'm sorry. She's right, Sasuke added, looking at the ground with his hands in his pockets. He tilted his head upwards. I'm sorry too, Kurama smiled. Don't worry about it, guys. Sasuke smirked briefly, before returning to his usual stern look. Why didn't you tell us about it in the first place? I wanted to build a relationship with you two before I could reveal my secret, Kurama explained. If I didn't, you'd probably see me as something that I'm not. Sakura went up to Kurama and gave him the hardest gaze she could muster, analyzing his every feature. You don't look like a demon, she finally said. Well, obviously not, Kurama answered. But that doesn't stop these villagers, now does it? Oh, I know what you're talking about, Naruto. And it's all stupid, if you asked me. She smiled afterwards. But they're all wrong. You're not a demon. You're our teammate and our friend. And if you think that you having a demon fox stuck in your body will ever change that, then you're even dumber than I thought you were, Sasuke added with a smirk. I'm glad that you guys are willing to accept me. I couldn't have asked for better teammates, Kurama said, beaming widely. While he was still unsure about telling them the whole truth, the fact that they would have accepted him if he was a normal demon container was a pretty nice feeling to have. And now that I have friends like you, it doesn't hurt so much. Kakashi ruffled Kurama's hair. You have a point there. Once we finish up here, we can go to Ichiraku Ramen. Sound good? It sure does, Sakura answered. Those people are really good to you, Naruto. You should appreciate them. Don't worry, Sakura, I do, Kurama replied. His smile spread through his face and as he formed the cross seal, and as his clones ran across the city delivering messages, he could only think about how Team 7 was starting to become more than just an ordinary team. It was an interesting feeling for him, to say the least, and as long as his teammates were being honest, there would be no serious problems for them in the future. We'll see how it goes for now. If they are tricking me, I'll know. After all, a ninja must see through deception.